I can imagine that being Eurovision, like a German dude singing that with a little ukulele. You know,
I whip mine hair back and forth. I whip mine hair back and forth. I whip mine hair back and forth. I whip mine hair back and forth.
This is the Kill Them with Comedy podcast, featuring true crime, amazing events, conspiracies, unsolved mysteries, and an array of weird and wonderful topics, all for your enjoyment. You're welcome.
And that proves that even people that you would trust with your life can, at some point, go fucking crazy.
Hello, everybody. Then I lost losing my cigarette. Then.
No.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Kill Them with Comedy podcast, episode number 30. This is the show where two comedians attempt to talk about serious subjects in a not so serious manner. I am your comedic babyface and all-around lovable butthead, KD Hinken, and I am joined, and I'm holding up a cough as well. I am joined by my fellow funny friend from around the comedy circuit. He is the creator of the post-apocalyptic Metal Treehouse. Please welcome Mr. Nathan Parish.
Hey!
There we go.
Yeah, it's difficult figuring it out, innit? Because technically you're over that way, but it just feels wrong to point in that direction to get to you.
We'll both like properly figure it out and get used to it, just as we go back to just as we go to doing it in person and
in person, exactly, because that's literally like what we're talking about doing fairly soon. So,
and hopefully we're both in the frame of mind where we can at least look at each other and know which direction we're in.
Yeah,
I suppose it depends how much we smoked or drank at the time, but
oh yeah. Oh, speaking of which, that leads me in perfect thing, because what am I drinking today, Carl? It's another episode of What's Nathan Drinking. This time,
what are you drinking there?
It's Tamnavulan. It is Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey, double casked in matured American oak barrels with a sherry cask finish. That's always a nice little sweetness. Let's have a little go. Let's Let's open this bad boy up.
Yeah, let's put the full camera on again so we can see the bottle.
Yeah. It comes in its own little box, and then it has a lovely looking bottle. Look at that. Look at that. But I know. It's a basic looking bottle. It's not going over the top trying to prove anything.
Over the top pretentious, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. It's not trying too hard. It is what it is, and it's happy to be that. Now let's.
The colouring in that just slightly look like that one generic one you always see. I don't know if it's brandy or whiskey, but
I can't be sure.
I don't know. It's like the Glens of whiskey, you know.
Oh, Bell's,
mate. It might be. I don't know. I think so.
It does have a touch of the Bell's look to it, if I'm honest. There is a sort of, but I'm hoping it's better than Bell's because I fucking hate Bell's.
That's something we'll have to do when we're in person. I'll have to try some whiskey.
Yeah. I'll bring some good whiskey.
Yeah, like some decent one apparently. I don't know.
Yeah,
to me, it's all the same.
No, I'll bring the good stuff. Now, it's time. It's time for that little moment.
I'll bring some rum or something.
Oh, that was a nice little cork there.
If you want to know what I'm
you can smell
high grade tea. Hell yeah.
Very good. High grade. That's high test. That's good shit. Oh wow. You can really smell the sherry on the back of that. That's beautiful. Okay, let's have a go.
I really want to try I don't think I've ever had weed tea. But at the same time, I don't really know if there's much point of it myself, having bud tea or bud anything. I like smoking it. I don't even see why you really.
Oh no, there definitely is. There definitely is. Like edible cakes are insane.
It's different kind of high, isn't it? Like the proper edible stuff.
Yeah. It's a whole different thing. Like I had one at some point, and see how I deflected the exact date of that, so no one can prosecute.
It's just
basically, yeah. So I ate this cake, and I was like, yeah, a cake. I'll be fine with a chunk of cake. That's never going to be a problem. Fuck me, mate. I was so goddamn blazed for so goddamn long. Like I drove home, and I was like, oh, am I going to be too stoned to drive home? Thank fuck I did when I did, because I never would have been able to drive back within about half an hour after that. It only got worse.
Yeah,
it only got worse, you know.
I suppose it would if you take a bit of time to eat the food, take longer. I suppose it would either way. I don't know.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, no, I was at the stage where I was like, well, I can either go or I can. Oh bloody hell! That was loud. I heard myself very loudly there. That was strange.
Fairly normal for this one, man.
Yeah. So yeah. No, I know my limit. I know my limit, and I was just like, oh, I'm reaching my limit here. I need to go back before anything worse happens.
I've definitely learned my limit when it comes to alcohol. Like I've learned how much I can drink. I can generally keep going, and I'll always get back. I'll always be okay to a point. But in regards to how much I can drink without feeling like shit the next day, then I know my limit now.
Yeah.
Talking like 2 or 3 beers and like a like a 35 centiliter bottle of rum or something like that, or 20 centiliter one of them.
That's still a fair bit for me. Like at the moment, all I can realistically handle is about 2 to 3 beers. And then any more than that, and I'm starting to get really fucked, which is weird because I used to be able to drink loads when I was young.
I think the beer makes you feel crap as well, though. Beer always makes you feel crappy.
What the fuck?
Did you say that was cherry flavoured, by the way? Or had some cherries to it?
Sherry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Put in sherry casks.
It's like me saying the word cherry. Because my lisp.
Hang on. Oh, bloody hell. Right, so the entire experience of taking a sip with that was, why does this have no flavour? All this now has a lot of flavour. It's a very, very sweet flavour. Then you swallow it and you're like, oh, that doesn't feel like it's going to be too unpalatable. And then it burns your fucking throat to cinders. What the fuck?
It's nice and strong.
Wow. Oh, it's only 40%. A lot of the stuff I've had is higher than that.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed with the more expensive stuff. It seems to have like that extra 5% normally for some reason. So we Cosmo have that extra 5%.
Yeah, it's very smooth though. Almost like a sort of a really crisp water, if that makes sense. Sort of on the tongue. That's the sort of feel of it, and then just fucking ruthless.
See, to me, like
ruthless.
I've only ever tried like JD. I think that's whiskey, isn't it?
It is a whiskey, technically, yeah. But come on, I mean,
that's as much as I've gone with it. Like there was ones below that, but you don't even want to mention them.
Jim Beam is in my opinion better than Jack Daniels, and it's a bit cheaper. If you can, get yourself some Jim Beam because it's a way smoother whiskey overall, and it just.
I might have tried that at some point, but.
Yeah, it's better, man. It's just better. And then they have the cherry version of that and the honey version of that, which is still also better than the Jack Daniel versions. So yeah, just
rum is just nice though in general.
Rum is fucking lovely. I'm not going to lie to you, especially Kraken. I love some Kraken. The thing is, I tend to like my rum mixed in with something though. Whilst whiskey, I tend to just straight up.
If I'm drinking straight, I think I've said it to you before, Disaronno or Amaretto, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's a liqueur, but it's still like 28%.
It's a cherry Bakewell in a bottle.
It's very nice, though.
Yeah.
Very tasty. I have that instead of dessert at a pub normally. I'm not a big fan of desserts, but that on the rocks is just nice.
Yeah.
And rum just gets you fucked, so rum's very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's basically what I'm going for with this as well. But yeah, overall, not bad, but not the greatest. Maybe it will grow on me, but I think I still prefer myself a cheeky bourbon.
And what was that called again, that name?
That was Tamnavulen.
Tamnavulen.
Yeah.
Tamnavulen. Sounds like a cough medicine.
It does a bit, doesn't it?
So also then in terms
or an additive to one. Cavonia with Tamnavulen.
Yeah. But we have a gig together, don't we? Then coming up soon.
Yeah, let's talk about that before we get into the seriousness. Yeah, bro, we've got one coming up on the 17th. It's going to be good in Kidderminster. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah. So for anyone listening, we're going to go straight into the main topic after this. So, wait. Kidderminster. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be really good. It's Leanne MC, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be good, man. She's been putting on some freaking brilliant shows from what I can tell so far.
Yeah,
and
she's been doing well since
just
like
all over the place. Yeah, just doing loads of gigs. Respect to that. You got to respect the play.
oh, respect the hustle.
Yeah.
Freaking also as well, I was shocked like because she mentioned that she was going to be driving down and that. I'm like, what? This might be the first time I've seen Leanne sober. I don't think I've ever seen it.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah. I'm gonna have to drive as well, but that's fairly common for me when I go to gigs. I'm always fucking driving.
The only thing about not being able to drive, I never drive, obviously, so I'm always able to drink. But then I always end up drinking too much, so there's downsides.
Yeah, there are downsides. Yeah. But at least you're drunk enough that you don't remember the downsides. You know what I'm saying?
I was about to say, when it comes to downsides, though, I'd still prefer that one, drinking too much.
Yeah. And then...
it's not even drinking too much, it's just more than you meant to, anyway.
Well, yeah, exactly. But that, again, like, who makes those rules, Carl? It's
Exactly.
just fucking... Exactly. Fuck those people.
Well, it's myself, normally. I suppose I do fuck myself, though, so yeah.
On a regular, yeah, but, you know...
So I'm not too sure how else is there. I haven't been onto the group thing. I know Alex is there as well, isn't he?
I think Alex is there. Oh god, yeah. No, I'm pulling a. It's a blank. My mind's a blank. It's terrible.
We'll probably both put something up before it actually happens, anyway.
Yeah.
Before this has come out
Before we go as well, there's a little bit of plug before we go. Let's do some plugs at the start so that people don't forget it. Yeah, do some plugs.
I'm a bit out of sync today, so yeah. Thanks.
That's all right. So, what's your plugs?
Oh, what are my plugs? I've got In Your House Comedian Podcast. We've had 2 episodes come out so far of the new season. Episode 27 with Daniel Linus, and then 28 came out today with Mickey Schwarmer, and that will be coming out. That is already out on Joke Pit YouTube, and all
I've
of
had
that
a little bit
stuff.
of a watch of it. It was very interesting so far. It's good. It's good stuff.
The one with Mickey that I put on today was just hilarious to do. Like, we filmed it a few days ago, but it was just fucking dude's crazy.
I like Mickey. Yeah, I like Mickey. He seems like the kind of guy who you can just sort of have a long, very strange conversation with.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. Long, strange conversation.
I love it.
It was very good. A lot before, a lot after. Definitely more than enough that we can talk for another one. So I'm going to get him back some other time.
Good.
So that one's, all of them are out for that, other than the ones on Spotify that'll be coming out later. And then there's also, there's a comedian quiz off this Wednesday as well, or probably in 2 days or 1 day from when you're watching this. That'll be episode number 36.
Yep.
Episode 36.
Nothing weird about the way you said that at all. That's exactly what it is. And anyone who judges you for saying it that way are wrong.
They are. It's the 36 special, so you know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it entails. I really don't want to know.
All we know is it's going to be incredibly sexy.
Incredibly sexually active.
Yes.
Ironically, unlike the host.
Yeah, I think that can be said for almost anyone on the quiz off panels at the moment. No one's really getting out enough to get laid that much, are they?
And the people that are in long-standing relationships, and you might as well not be anyway in that case.
Yeah, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. We all know that doesn't count. We all know it's a hit it and quit it situation on numbers. It's one and you're out. You don't get to claim the same one twice. This isn't a fucking coupon.
Yeah, or if you do it twice, you're probably waiting about a year in between or something, you know.
Yeah.
So when you get married, you know, you got to have the early. I didn't even mean to do that noise then. I was just doing a little dance. I didn't even think about that noise.
The best bit about that noise is the fact that because it was so non-committal, it had a very loose feel of like, we've been doing this a long time. Who really gives a shit anymore?
It's got all different layers. Unlike the relationship. Shall we move into then the main
before
topic?
that.
Oh yeah, your plug. Sorry.
Hell yeah, because there
Plug them
is
better than the husband is.
It's alright. Because there's post-apocalyptic Metal Tree House out there for your perusal. It is available on Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. It's an audio sketch show. I like to call it eldritch comedy because it starts to get pretty dark at various places, and there's a sort of ever-evolving plot of universal destruction built into a sketch show. So I think we're on track for it being good. The next episode will take a while to come out, so if you want to binge episode 1 to 5 now and get it into your head, that's the perfect time to do it, because episode 6 and episode 7 will be being made back to back and will be a double release. That's right. It's going to be incredibly quick turnaround, hopefully, in comparison to basically everything else I do. So, listen to Post-Apocalyptic Metal Tree House now. Do it on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. Do it.
Almost spilled my tea with all that excitement.
Yeah, it's pretty good, wasn't it? That's a sales pitch and a half, mate. That's the elevator pitch right there.
That was a damn good sales pitch.
Mm-hmm.
What was that word you said at the beginning? I really liked it and I've forgotten it now. Perusal? I like that. That's a word, that is, Nathan. I'm going to remember that.
Yeah.
You've just strengthened my lexicon.
Yes. Everyone likes a strengthened lexicon.
You do. You need it. Right then. The main topic for today's podcast then.
Let's do this thing.
I mean, I'd heard of this. I hadn't really seen exactly what it was. I'd seen like it mentioned on different things and stuff. Didn't realise exactly what keyed them all together. And it's a very loose thing to key them all together. This is the missing 411 cases.
Ooh, interesting.
So do you know what that is?
No, but I just know it's a missing case, a person who's missing. And if there's multiple ones, I'm assuming there's some kind of conspiracy.
Well, you basically knew exactly what I knew before I actually looked into what the hell they were all about.
Excellent.
It's exactly what you said. It's missing people. I wouldn't say as much a conspiracy between them all, but there's something between them all. But the main fact is that they all took place in national parks, America.
Interesting. Yeah.
So random missing people cases from national parks and that. But some of them are a bit like, some of them are really like, they make no sense. Some of them are just crazy, and got a mix of a few different ones here. Basically, I'm going to go through a few different ones. Let me see how many I've got. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, got 8 actually. So
bloody hell.
Yeah, I won't spend too long on each of them. Actually, in that case,
that's all right.
Because some of them are just needed, and some of them are really good. So let me make sure I haven't missed anything else. Yeah, so in general, all following disappearances occurred near or in national parks. There was always no scent trail left for the dogs. Sometimes clothes and bodies will be found in different places. Oh, that bit doesn't matter because they're all very different in different ways. So first one anyway, Stephen Kubacki.
I've heard that name.
I thought that when I first heard it as well.
Yeah.
1977, he was a 24-year-old, and he was cross-country skiing across Lake Michigan, or that area anyway.
Yeah.
This is going to sound a bit like the Dilatov Pass, actually. He took up his ski. I'm saying that just because the skis involved,
Yeah.
He took off his skis at the edge of the lake to rest, but when he got up to go, his tracks had gone and he was just lost completely. So he got up and it was just his tracks weren't there anymore. He wasn't sure where he came from. The last thing he remembered at that time was walking through the snow, feeling numb and exhausted, and then just blacking out completely. I should have done this one a bit later because this is one of the especially weird ones, but I suppose this is a good one to start on.
That's all right. It's all right. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Could be Australian on you.
I did notice. All of a sudden, he awoke in what felt like the blink of an eye. And it was spring. He was lying in a grassy field in the middle of a forest, wearing clothes that weren't his, sitting next to a backpack he didn't own, wearing glasses that weren't his.
Okay.
So, yeah.
How many mushrooms did he eat? And if not, when did he decide that he didn't want to pretend he was dead?
Well, apparently he hiked to the nearest town where he learned it was Pittsfield, Massachusetts. It's about 700 miles from Lake Michigan, apparently. I don't even know how far that is, to be honest. It sounds like a long way away.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Yeah, it's a hell of a long way. But at the same time, like, do we believe this dude?
Well, I mean, at the same...
I mean, he came back. He's not even that fucking missing. He's lying about that already.
The thing that is strange, though, is that, well, his aunt and father lived in the area and he went to see them. And from speaking to them, he learned that he'd actually been gone for 14 months. And they all thought he was dead in the time and all that. The search team found his poles and skis on the edge of Lake Michigan where he said they were. And there were only tracks leading to his equipment, none leading away. So they all assumed he drowned in the lake. See, it's a bit strange, you know, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
the officials...
yeah, it is. But, like...
Go on, what do you think?
Like, you can potentially hide your tracks if you're trying to pretend that you died. And, like, it seems a bit to me like this guy's gone, oh, I'm going to fake my death. I'm sick of this life. I'm going to fake my death. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to be a different person. He went somewhere else. He became a different person. And it was even worse. And then he was like, you know what? I want to go back home. I want to see if my grandparents have sold my Pokemon card collection. I want to see if I can cash in on a shiny Charizard and go for a new fucking version of life, because I fucked up bad here. You know what I'm saying?
So you trying to say that Charizard made the boy come back to the yard? They were like, they're my Pokemon cards.
Damn right, they're better than yours. Damn right, they're better than yours.
I mean, yeah, you know, this is the thing with a few of these. Like, it's easy to say, assume that it's never time they're lying. I don't know. That would be hard to do, though. Get rid of all your tracks afterwards. Why wouldn't you take your skis with you so you could get back easier as well?
To make it look like he died.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
to make it look like he died.
It doesn't say anything about his car in the area, whether that was still there. It doesn't say any of that, to be fair.
Yeah. It seems remarkably simple for him to just be like, yeah, it was really cold and I was nearly dead, but then suddenly I'm fine and it's 14 months later and I don't remember anything. Oh, by the way, don't check my bank account because it may have a lot of checks written out to hookers.
Oh, one sec. My dealer's calling me. I just have to run out and get.
This is very important. This is very important. Go do it.
Okay.
Quickly. Go quickly. The minute you walk through the joint, bah, bah, I could tell that you were a man of distinction, a real big spender. Hey, big spender. Hey, big spender. Spend a little time with me. Oh. Anyone ever seen Poirot? I don't get it, man. I like. Not enough people have watched Poirot. Poirot is brilliant. Okay. Have you ever seen David Suchet do that shit? David Suchet becomes a whole different motherfucker during that thing. He becomes a whole different beast. Like, it's no longer David Suchet up there. It is a tiny, mild-mannered Belgian man. And it is fucking beautiful. Like, genuinely. And, like, unlike the Agatha Christie shit where it was like fucking, what's it called? What's that grey bitch? Miss Marple, right? Now, instead of it being her, like, which is like it's difficult because like you've got to have an old person playing the role because they're an old person. They can't necessarily do all of the Agatha Christie, Miss Marples before like the person dies. But when it comes to like David Suchet as fucking Poirot, that shit is the mad notes, bro. That shit is the mad notes. Anyway, we're back. Oh shit, I can't hear you. You're muted.
There we go. Now I'm back.
There we go.
Just picking up my illegal bouquet of flowers for no reason. I shouldn't even say illegal. It's just a bouquet of flowers that is frowned upon. Just a normal.
Yeah, just
bouquet
buzz
of
that out
flowers,
because I just did a fucking whole diatribe about loads of shit that was just badass as fuck, mate. You don't want to lose that. We don't want to lose that.
Oh, we don't want to lose that. Okay, cool. I will leave that.
Yeah. You don't want to lose that, man. It was genius. God damn. Like I went off on one about Suchet. I went off on one about Miss Marple. I sang a little bit of Hey Big Spender from fucking whatever that thing is with Liza Minnelli in it.
Oh, okay. I gotta say, I walked out the door and I was just fumbling there for a minute, getting stuff out of my pockets and that, and I could just hear you like singing or something. I could hear something. It was just coming through from the headphones.
I always try and entertain people during the breaks, man. I always try and add a little bit of flair in the middle. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason why we should have dead air in a podcast of this quality.
No, and we appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it when I go back and listen to it anyway. So with this story then, I mean,
yes,
it is very convenient, like you said, that he was all cold and whatever in that time, and then he just passed out and then suddenly woke up. I think what people are getting at with these is there's a few different things, like in that bit I mentioned at the top where I kind of veered off is because they started to say in that explanation a few of the theories behind what it could be.
Yeah.
Naturally, an obvious one is aliens.
Yeah.
Just because, which you understand the concept. I took them, they went off, and there's been some stories that I've listened to that are actually quite good, with some evidence behind them where it seems like that kind of happened. But at the same time, you're just assuming this out of nowhere. There's no real reason to think this.
But the thing is as well, like there are sort of abduction stories that have a degree of credibility to them to a certain extent as well.
Awesome, yeah.
But one where it's like, oh, conveniently no one was round and I disappeared and I came back and I was fine in Minnesota. It's like, fuck it, what? Or wherever it was.
Yeah, and just travelled there and that. I mean, I don't know. As we get onto a few of these other ones, there's just so many things in them that I just can't really explain. I just don't get. When I was going through these, putting this together, I was like, how can this all be legitimate? Like, it's just weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes over the whole of like basically America, because there's national parks all over America, isn't there?
Yeah, they were introduced by Theodore Roosevelt, I believe.
Okay.
And basically because he was a huge conservationist because he liked shooting things. Which is fucking great. I love Theodore Roosevelt. He's fucking badass.
I love that. I'm a conservationist. I love animals and that, so I can shoot them.
Makes sense. Fuck yeah. Also, Theodore Roosevelt survived getting shot in the middle of a speech and kept doing the speech.
Yeah. I heard someone had. I forgot who it was, but
yeah. Like they literally shot him in the chest. It got bedded into his notes. Didn't go all the way through. Definitely wounded him though, and went into him quite a bit. And he just goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not aware, I have just been shot. Wow. But it takes more than that to put down a bull moose." And he just kept doing his fucking speech.
Well, that's literally what he said as well.
That's literally what he said.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Man, that might have to go in place of Jim Cornette's little bit at the beginning of this podcast.
Oh, shit. That's
a great little soundbite, that is.
Yeah. I love that fucking bit.
Yeah.
Like, Teddy Roosevelt was a hardcore bastard. Like a true fucking badass. He was in the Rough Riders, for fuck's sake.
I don't know what the Rough Riders is.
Rough Riders were basically a group that were made sort of after I think they initially were designed from the Texas Rangers kind of thing, and trying to hunt down Native Americans and fight them on their own turf. So instead of getting off the horses like everyone else would do at the time and lining up to get fucking murdered by fucking people with tomahawks and bows and arrows, they learned to shoot from the horse so they could fight them at the same pace.
Yeah.
And that extended into the military, into the Rough Riders and things like that as well, I think.
So I was trying to say stuff like that, isn't it? Like fight them in their own turf, and that like the whole of America isn't a Native American turf.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
like that isn't just their home.
Yeah, and that's why they've managed to cancel that pipeline as well, is because of that. Anyway, sorry, we're going off topic. We'll get back to this later on when we'll do the wordy bits.
This is one thing I liked about doing this at the beginning, because I knew we'd move off into other conversations too, so it kind of keeps it all together.
Yeah, it's quite a good little, good little idea. Yeah.
Especially with something like this, because it's just a few different stories put together as well, into one.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I quite like the list thing. It works quite well. Also, it's a kind of YouTubey thing, isn't it? Having lists and shit. Maybe it'll get us some more views.
To be fair, if we market it like that, like Ace, 411 missing cases or whatever,
Yeah.
That might be an idea, actually. Yeah.
Not a bad idea. Yeah.
Okay, so number 2 then, Maurice Demetz. So, I remember this one. This was an 80-year-old woman that decided to go topaz hunting with his younger friend. Oh, so it was a guy with his younger friend in Pike National Forest.
Mm-hmm.
Topaz, I don't quite know what that is. I feel like it's some kind of blue gemstone.
It sounds like a rock, doesn't it? Yeah, hang on. Yeah. I'm gonna do a little.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'm
going to be your guy in the chair. Oh, it is. Yeah, it's basically it's just a fucking. It's like quartz, basically. It's just a little bit of glass, but.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's valuable in some way because it's a gem more than anything else. But
I assume it was probably more of a bucket list thing for her. God knows why that's on a bucket list. Maybe just doing something in a national forest.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like a nice Saturday afternoon, doesn't it? Looking for some topaz, smoking one down, chilling out, having a burrito. Sounds fucking sweet.
And he definitely would have been chunging on as well because he had very bad knees due to arthritis. So I hope for him he was chunging on it as well.
He fucking better be, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the main reason it's been legalized over there, man. So you people have arthritis and glaucoma and migraines, smoke up. You do
smoke
it now.
Up. Yeah. There was a Penn and Teller thing at one point of a dude who was literally getting federal weed for fucking like decades because it'd been written in like by I think it was Nixon or something like that. Weirdly, and like this dude literally had like bone spurs that would grow out of his bones and potentially rip through like veins and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but for some reason. The weed really helped because like it stopped the pain associated with it, and then they could do the operations and things to sort of keep him going and stuff like that without him like not eating very much and all this kind of stuff and a really good pain management because again weed is given to people who have fucking cancer and then they're like, oh, you know what, I reckon I can probably eat after my chemotherapy. Why the fuck aren't we using this shit, for fuck's sake? Oh no, have a load of opiates that will stop you from wanting to eat anything instead. That's a terrible idea when people are having cancer. They need to eat loads, as much as they can, without vomiting it back up again. It's so dumb, man.
I didn't even know that was
so dumb.
I didn't even know that was something they did, to be fair, was give them like painkillers and stuff. I suppose just because it hurts a lot, I'm guessing there's always a lot of pain involved.
Yeah, especially with chemotherapy,
Yeah.
Because it's basically your cells are dying. It's killing the cancer by killing all of you and hoping the cancer dies first.
Yeah, because you will bring yourself, like your cells will be whatever and come back.
Because it's literally what it's doing is it's stopping your cells from reproducing. So it stops the cancer from reproducing, so the cancer eventually dies. But of course, that stops you from reproducing new cells.
I saw something. Let me just make a quick note of this. I saw something the other day about jellyfish. Was it the moon jellyfish? That they looked into it and they figured out that there's something to do with the DNA of a jellyfish, where it was like the cells were just copying, or no, that was it. Sorry, the jellyfish had been dead for like however long, for like a few days or something, been dead, properly dead. And then it made a clone of itself essentially.
It's a phoenix
and then it
type
kept doing
thing.
it.
Yeah. They essentially live forever because instead of dying when they get too old, they just revert to their larval form inside their body. Their body just dies and disappears around them, and then suddenly they just go, "Oh, look, I'm fine again. I'm a little baby."
Oh, okay. So it is just literally like one of each time. It's not like multiplying and that.
No, it's not multiplying, but they do like reproduce other ways. But of course, they also get eaten. So eventually, like that will come to an end. But in a perfect environment where one won't reach any predators, it could theoretically live forever.
I don't think that would be a perfect environment, would it? I feel like most things wouldn't do very well if that was the case.
Well, jellyfish would do fine.
Oh, jellyfish, yeah, okay. Jellyfish would be okay.
Yeah, I mean, you and me might suffer a little bit more. We'd probably get quite bored.
Yeah. You know, it's all we do is be predators out there. You know, prey on people. That's the word.
Prey on people. Yep.
Predatate on people.
Those bloody predators.
Yeah, they're master predators. They are. So Maurice anyway then. So old ass dude got arthritis, got very bad knees. The friend helped him to a digging spot and left him there after ensuring he was okay. Upon returning shortly after, Maurice had somehow completely vanished. Said he was only gone for like
noises.
Cool. Said he'd only been gone for like 5 minutes. It would have apparently been impossible for Maurice to get up the hill up from the space where he was on his own anyway, and all the area all around it was just way too big. Like there wasn't enough time. They searched for 5 days and were unable to find any evidence or sign of him anywhere, and just eventually gave up. They just gave up. Yeah, I didn't realise that. Yeah, they just gave up. I suppose what else can you do though?
Also, not great though.
No. In 5 days, they really.
It sounds a bit Australian. I'll leave it, mate. If he's going to be all right, he'll turn up. Just don't worry about it.
See, I was just looking at that one. I don't know why I must have been in less of a cynical mind at the time when I first was looking at these, because I didn't once think about this. But now I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, how do we not know it's just a friend didn't knock him off?
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Like 2 people go into a forest, one of them comes back, and your immediate suspicion isn't, what the fuck did you do to him?
I mean, we'd have to look. You don't even know for sure if you went there and there was nothing, like no life insurance that was signed to the friend or nothing that would benefit him. They might have just gone in there and Maurice might have just been like, do me a favour, man, pop me in the head or something. You don't know?
Maybe, but
the other guy
you tend to leave a note or something like that. If you're gonna go, oh mate, do you mind killing me to get me out of like a horrendous death? You tend to write a note with it to go, by the way, I didn't want him to die. He meant to kill me because I told him to, but don't blame him. And if you're just turning up dead somewhere or disappearing, there's something nefarious.
Maybe he was a loose acquaintance more than anything. Maybe he owed him money and maybe
you're more likely to be murdered by someone you know. That's
yeah. Definitely. I was I think it's a lot weirder, and it's very much so harder for the police to find someone when it's a random thing though. Like I was watching one. I saw one not too long ago. It was 2 like nerdy kind of Comic-Con people, like our kind of people basically. And they lived together. And the guy had gone out and the woman was outside the front getting like 6 a.m, getting like a stall ready to sell some random stuff so they could go. So they were going Comic-Con like a month later and they wanted extra spending money. And someone just gets out of a car nearby, walks over to her, pulls out a sword. No, that was a gun. So he pulls out a gun and just shoots her, and then shoots her twice, and then walks over and shoots her in the head, like standing over her, and just runs back off. You see in a CCTV thing. So what the hell?
Fucking hell.
And they've just never found anything. They've never got any leads. They haven't found anything. The guy they were an actual happy couple. The guy was actually had actually gone to work and everything that time. There was nothing that you'd expect, you know.
That's so fucking weird, man.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Once again, there was nothing, but at the same time, the guy might have got a hit, man. You don't know. But he didn't have that much money either, though, actually thinking about it. But they had enough to get by, and they just... Yeah, it doesn't... None of it really felt like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that just seems very fucking strange. Just the idea that someone walks up to someone and just goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna shoot you." Like it seems like motivation's potentially there. Although again, people do crazy shit. Like we talked about that other guy at one point who was just like, "I don't give a fuck. I'm just killing."
Yeah, man, I was about to say, to be honest, I reckon that there is... Well, we kind of know there's just this idea that some people just want to go out and just try killing people. And that's kind of where serial killers come from, you know. That's pretty much where it comes from, this idea that they get in their head, they want to try to do it. As soon as they do it, they want a better one and all this, you know, like a drug.
Yeah, oh, I need the rush again. Oh, the rush. There's nothing quite like the rush. And it's like, fucking weirdo.
Yeah, it's such a weird way to try and get it. Why would that be your first way? Like...
That's the thing. It doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, if you want to kill anyone, kill yourself doing something crazy. You know, go for a fucking world record attempt of some kind that's ridiculous and likely to get you killed. That's going to get you way more fucking fame and money and like entertainment. But at the same time, you don't murder people. So
probably wouldn't get you more fame, to be fair.
Well, maybe not. Yeah, I mean, depending on the one you went for.
Humans have a weird fascination with murderers and that, which is strange.
Especially in Japan.
Do shows like this.
Yeah, especially in Japan, though. There's a dude in Japan who cut up a woman and ate her in America, went back to Japan and sort of served a minimal sentence. And I mean, like a couple of years. Because he had a really rich dad. And then when he got out, people in Japan have been asking him for autographs and shit. And he's like a mini celebrity over there. It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, you know, that sounds vaguely familiar, actually. I think I might have watched one of those infographic things on it or something.
Yep, and it's fucking horrifying. And the guy should be behind bars / shot.
There's a lot of things like that thinking about it. Like, you think about all the killers in prison and that as well. Like, they always get, like, fan mail from people, don't they? You always hear about this. And like women,
you get women who are like, oh you're so beautiful, I can change him. You can't change a fucking serial killer, you weirdo.
He can change you.
Yeah.
From living to dead. That's about it, as far as it's going.
And he will do it.
There's
no doubt he will do it. You know?
Yeah. It's a change, actually. Yeah, it's not that he can, he will. He just will.
Because he does this regularly. That is why he is called a serial killer.
But I mean, with that Maurice one, though, anyway, you can obviously, once again, you can say that it was the guy, but let's just say for a second again, it wasn't. What else could it be, really? It depends how long it was actually gone for.
It comes to like aliens and you know, Black Hawk helicopters appearing out of nowhere and taking people,
well, it's also another big thing as well. Is also because national parks, you know, so Bigfoot and all that too.
Bears and things and Bigfoot, yeah,
bears, Bigfoot's like, I don't really think I believe in Bigfoot personally, but at the same time, it's not the craziest thing to believe in, because there has been some weird evidence that I have seen over the past few years, to be fair, which is strange.
There are some that. There's evidence that something definitely existed like that, so it's not beyond the realms of possibility entirely. You know, there's a chance that could happen, and
it just makes sense anyway because they're primates. Weird primates could be another branch of like the evolution tree. It could have just been an extra version of also just some. You know, it all kind of makes sense. It's all the same kind of lines in that.
It does, yeah.
And it would make sense with the smartness they apparently have, like they evade people and all these little things they apparently do, you know, which is why you don't see them very much.
Yeah, but again, at the same time, it's like, there's just not enough evidence, though, is there? Like, not enough solid evidence.
Exactly. It's like if national forests aren't ridiculously huge that, you know, you couldn't look through them all. You know how big they are. You know, it's a national park.
Well, I don't know. Some of the ones in America, they are fucking big.
They're huge,
real
yeah.
big.
But you can still like use satellites to look at them and that. But I don't buy it if there was a family of like Bigfoot
Oh yeah,
in these
yeah.
areas. You wouldn't see them.
Google Maps would have picked up one at least because a fucking as much as a Sasquatch may be smart, they're not smart enough to know what satellites are.
Exactly, yeah.
You know.
And even if they knew what satellites were, like we do, we can't see them or know when they're
Yeah.
taking photos of us when they're above us.
Yeah, and if Google Maps can take a picture of a dude falling down a set of steps mid fucking drive, then there's gonna be a Sasquatch somewhere.
I didn't know they'd done that.
Mhm. It was in an Aussie Man Reviews video, and literally there's just this old dude just fucking decking it down the stairs, and it's in two different pictures as well. Because in the first bit you see him beginning to fall, and the second one it's moved forward, and he's already just about to hit the ground. It's like this is fucking savage. Oh shit!
It's crazy that. Well, I forget now. Actually, is that a thing where they blow out the faces on that?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. Now.
And logos for certain things and shit like that as well. It's very strange.
You got to imagine that it's like automatically done because if not, I feel sorry for the people that have to comb through every one of those photos looking for faces, any logos, anything at all.
I think it is automated because there's certain times where you'll see people's faces because the algorithm hasn't done it properly or something like that.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
In that case, then yeah, you imagine it must be. But to be fair, thank God though, because I would feel sorry for those people,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd probably get paid fuck all to do that too.
Oh, my hamster's too hot. God damn it.
I understand,
darling.
Hammy.
Yeah, she's tiny.
Yeah, it's hot as well. I imagine it's even worse for something that's constantly wearing a fur jacket.
Yeah.
Little
No,
hammy
darling.
hamster. Okay, what is the next? I might leave this.
Sorry.
No, I'm going to leave that one till later, I think. Okay, so this is another one. I haven't got all the details for this one. Well, I started it off by saying I haven't taken all the details for this because it's just not needed. So I left a message for myself, apparently. This one is James McGrogan. Basically, this guy was cross-country snowboarding with his friends, but he was much faster, so he went... No, wait, no, hold on. This is the one I was...
blowing at it.
Cool. Is this the one I was going to readjust? No, okay, this is a different one. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So James McGrogan. So he went cross-country snowboarding with his friends. He was much faster, so he carried on ahead while they caught up. The whole way along the journey.
Skiing again?
Snowboarding, this one.
Oh, snowboarding. So, yeah, that's interesting.
A lot of those areas are like wintry, like it's in mountains as well, aren't they? So they got like wintry areas, and they've also got like national parks that are a bit.
But I'm wondering
well.
if that's got something to do with it, maybe as well. I'm not sure why.
But you think like
yeah,
avalanches and that then? Because when you were saying that when I was talking, then that was just going through my head.
Yeah.
I mean, it very much could be. And this one kind of leans to that, but not. I don't know actually. So he went ahead. They never caught up with him when they were going along or saw any sign of him, like, in any of the stops going forward. They didn't find him or anything. So eventually they realized he was missing. A search team went looking for him. And they eventually found him in an area that they had searched and gone over already a few times. So I don't know how long they were looking at this point, but they'd already looked at this one area a few times, and then they looked at it again for some reason, and they found him there. He was found about a 14-mile hike away from the main path that they were going along. He had severe damage to his head and wasn't wearing any boots. And his boots were never actually found, despite a lot of looking, apparently. He also had a fully charged phone with him, and after they did a few tests, they found out that he actually had full signal where he was as well. So, yeah.
I don't know why, but for some reason my head went crazed mountain man on that one. because of the lack of shoes. Like, if you were a crazy mountain man or something like that, and you come across a dude and he's on your patch, and you're just like, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker before he tells anyone where I am. I don't
You know
want
what?
that phone.
I love the impersonation of him. Bang on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was basically, what's his face? Nick Nolte.
Oh, okay. I got kind of like Hans Molman that had been in some kind of accident. So I got from it.
Yeah, that's Nick Nolte.
I saw something that him and was it Jessica Biel? I think it was someone that he was in a film with ages ago. It might have been Jennifer Lopez actually. That I hated each other.
Yeah.
Was it Jennifer Lopez?
Could have been, yeah.
Yeah, like just hate each other from some film they made. They were like love interest in the film, which is strange for me because I must have got into films after Gary Beasley was big in films because I've just known him as that weird guy that pops up on TV and has little cameos in things. I never knew he was like an actual legitimate movie star at some point.
He did some serious films, did old Busey, bro. Like,
how?
Yeah.
To his face, and the films he was in as well, though, like action films with like Jennifer
something
Lopez.
happened. Yeah, something happened to him though. He had a big like accident of some kind, I think it was, and like fucked up a lot of his brain function.
Oh well, he had an accident that fucked up his face as well.
Yeah. It wasn't good.
An accident like something that wasn't his fault, or we're talking like Mickey Rourke accident, you know?
No, it was a similar thing to like the Rick Mail thing. In fact, I think it might have even been a quad bike or something as well. It was some kind of accident.
Okay.
But he used to be fucking great in a lot of stuff, fucking excellent. And then he's just fried now.
You just what?
Yeah. He's just fried now.
Fried.
There's just he's gone too crispy. There's not much left on him.
So that's all I've ever known of him. So yeah, I mean that makes sense now, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've got a drink down here still. I'm gonna go get a cup of tea in a minute again. Run out.
Oh.
I'm gonna run out and put the kettle on now. Actually, right there. Make a note of this time for me. I have tea. I am happy. Tea. I am happy. Ooh.
Excellent.
I've been drinking a lot of tea again lately. I go through fads of it, but I've just been really liking it lately.
Yeah, I like tea, but unless you can do milk with tea, it's not really a proper tea. And because I can't do the milk, it's shit.
What do you mean you can't do the milk with tea?
Can't do dairy, mate. Can't do dairy.
Oh, you got one of those lactose intolerant things, or just dairy?
Yeah, but I think I can probably fix it if I just go through an inoculation thing, which is like taking a tiny little bit at a time and working your way up until you can eat it all again. But like, I don't have the fucking patience for it, man. It's like, oh, do you want to eat a crumb of a shortbread every single day until you can eat the whole shortbread? No, I fucking don't.
Well, they've never been able to eat a shortbread.
That's true. It does suck not being able to eat shortbread.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of shortbreads anyway, but as soon as someone tells me I can't have them.
Yeah, that's the problem, man. I'm a huge fucking fan of shortbread. You know those shortbread, Scottish shortbread selections? Yeah, it's like the little triangle ones. And they all are made of exactly the same shortbread. No fucking reason to change the different shapes of fucking shortbread because they're all exactly the same flavour. But for some reason, I have a fucking preference. And the preference goes, right? It goes triangle. Right, it goes triangle first because we all love those fucking wedge shortbreads. Then we go down to the fucking finger shortbreads, and if you lie to me about liking a finger shortbread over anything else apart from the wedge, then you're lying to me. And then it's a free for all. Pick whatever you want. Exactly, but the one that everyone leaves till the fucking last is the little circular fucking shortbreads because that's just a fucking biscuit, and a shortbread is better than a biscuit. A shortbread deserves its own fucking like shape.
Is that the one that's got like these like it looks like a ninja star?
Yeah,
spikes to come out. Yeah,
I ain't into that shit.
It's just all good anyway. Doesn't know what.
I want the triangles and I want the sticks.
You got to imagine people like the triangles because it reminds them of pizza slightly. That's what I reckon.
Yeah, that's
pie in general.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm not a big fan of pizza, pie, or shortbread, so I couldn't care less.
How the fuck can you not like pizza, Carl? What is wrong with you? Did
Not-
someone abuse you with pizza when you were a child? Did someone just throw hot margarita into your face when you're a child? Like, have that, you little git.
I mean, that would really, to be fair, that would give someone like a bit of a fever pizza. Understandably, I think if so. Like pepperoni's bad enough when you bite it off. Like pepperoni pizza, I'm not a fan of pepperoni because you get burnt all the time. You bite it off and it just
True.
carries on, hits your chin, and not only is it the hot pepperoni, but it's also the hot cheese as well. And it just sticks to it. It's just, so at the very least, when we're having pepperoni, well, I just don't have pepperoni, but I'll cut it up or make sure. I don't really know what I do. I just don't have pepperoni.
I just don't like the fucking pepperoni. I don't want it. Keep it away from me.
I generally take it off. I'll eat them first normally if I'm gonna have it, but I just don't see the
No
point of it.
fucking way. All right, okay. I only know of one other person who does that shit. Right,
They are a
and
smart person.
you know, it's a guy called Eddie Pence from a show called fuck's sake, The Ralph Report. I can't believe it took me that long to fucking record it. I've drunk a fair bit. It's fine. But like, genuinely, this dude, he won't eat like normal shit. It's like, oh yeah, I've got some fries with ketchup. That's fine. Oh yeah, do you want to have some tuna with it? No, I can't stand tuna. Oh, do you want to have this with it? Oh, I can't stand that. I can't stand this. I can't stand that. The guy literally won't eat a fucking like an Angel Delight kind of thing, like a blancmange or
picky
whatever.
eater.
Yeah, because it's too wobbly. It's like, what the fuck? That's not what you're eating, man. You're eating the flavor.
Like I know picky eaters. I'm not a picky eater at all. Like
Yeah, exactly. But you won't eat a fucking pizza or a shortbread. What's wrong with you?
Don't get me wrong. I'll eat a shortbread. It's not one of my go-tos if I had to pick. I wouldn't care if I never ate it again. Pizza is very overrated to me, but that comes from my general thinking that tomato in general is overrated.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. To be fair, tomato sauce on most pizzas sucks ass because I can make a better tomato sauce at home, guaranteed.
And that's the
That's
majority
why
of
whenever,
it,
but that's whenever I go to get a pizza from a shop, I go barbecue every single time. Every single fucking time. I don't give a shit if people say, "Oh, but it's not authentic." I'm not looking for fucking authenticity. Pizzas aren't even really Italian anyway. They were made in like America first and then imported back to Italy because it was a good idea.
That's true. I did not know
it's
that.
true. Yeah.
Oh, you know, fortune cookies are not Chinese; they're American as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I can believe that.
Same thing as what you just said. It started in America and they started doing it in China, and now Chinese people think they do it. Well, Chinese people over here seem to think they did start doing it because they do it. I got a Chinese the other day and had fortune cookies in it. You'd think if anyone knew they didn't make it, it would be them themselves. But
yeah. Apparently not.
Apparently not. No. I never knew that because I love Italian food. I never knew that with pizza.
Yeah, apparently it's the same sort of thing as the reason why, like Cornish pasties happened and things like that to a certain degree, because like it was just a load of cheap, easy food to make. You could make a big batch of it, and anyone could just grab a slice and eat it, and that's it. You sorted. You know what I mean? It's really easy food, and then that evolved more into the stromboli, I think, which is like, you know, the pizza but flopped over onto itself, which is basically like a delicious version of a pasty.
Yeah. What's that called again? Let's say
Stromboli. Yeah.
No, it's
Oh no, it's not a stromboli. That's a different thing, isn't it? Oh, it's
what can I think of? This is I like the word
calzone.
Yeah, calzone. Yeah,
calzone.
I like that word. There's a few good words I like. That one you said earlier that I can't remember again now.
Yeah.
What was that again now?
Stromboli.
No, that too actually. But the one you said quite a while earlier, near the beginning of the podcast, perishable or something like that.
Perusal.
That's the one. Yeah. I like that. I'm gonna start. I might just try and get. You know what? I'm gonna use that as my little challenge now. I'm gonna put that into my set somewhere. I'm gonna put the word perusal on Thursday.
Oh, mate. Best way to use that is like when you're just like talking about being stoned in a shop or something. I was stoned in a shop, walking around, just had a look, and I thought, ooh, have a little perusal of the chocolate aisle.
Mhm.
You see what I mean? Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that gig though. It'd be nice.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna force myself to pretty much do the same set. I'm gonna add a few things in there, like a few sayings that I don't understand, a few little one-liners, just because I like little one-liners. I'm gonna make a point that they're terrible one-liners, and that's why I like those one-liners.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. And then I think it'd be good doing it at a new place, because for both of us too, we'll get an idea of what a normal crowd would think of us. Not a crowd that loves their comedy, but, you know, very comfortable with their comedy, I guess is a good way to look at it.
Yeah. The thing is as well, like I think I'm probably going to be doing an old set on the 17th, because I've already started working on the new set, but now I just want to make sure that I know how to do the old set still.
Yeah.
So that I'm, you know, and then I can start working on the new set again, which I think I know which kind of route I'm going to take it, because before it was all about like how easy it was to live in the UK in comparison to anywhere else. Now I think it's going to be a bit of that, and then just following on to nature fucking hates you and you should be worried. You know what I mean? Because there's loads of shit. Yeah, because there was a thing that I wanted to talk about ages ago. It was actually in one of the first sets I ever did at the Hollybush. Which is called the Lone Star tick, and it's a tick that when it bites you, it makes you allergic to beef.
All right.
And it's in Texas. Like, that is just the worst joke you could ever pull on the people of Texas. You can't eat beef anymore. Are you fucking kidding?
To be fair, yeah, that is.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. That's fucking amazing. How the hell does something evolve like that?
No idea. Literally no idea. Just hatred of humankind, I think. It's like that movie with Will Smith and his son in it, where they crash land on Earth, and it's like everything here was born to kill you, basically.
Fucking, you're on about After Earth.
That was it.
The only reason everything on the planet is born to kill them is because they saw the film that they fucking made. That one.
Yeah.
That's why everyone wants to kill them.
Yeah. Fucking Jaden Smith. Oh, right. Mate.
Let's go on to something
worst. Sorry, yes.
Let's go on to something more positive and more entertaining than any Jaden Smith film. More disappearances.
Someone's potential death. Yes.
Yeah. Still more entertaining and better for the person as well than watching a Jada Smith.
Jaden. Yeah, there's Jada Pinkett Smith. There's Jaden Smith. And then there's Willow Smith, and then there's Will Smith.
Yeah.
That's what's weird. Like Willow from Will, Jaden from Jada. Like, oh, come on, man, really?
I like that. Yeah, personally, it's better than just saying, you know, like having Will Jr. or Jada Jr. You know,
I bet you whip your hair back and forth as well.
I will when I can. Hell yeah. I whip my hair back and forth. That's about the only good thing any of the offspring of them have done. Both Will Smith and Jada Smith.
I'm not sure it's good, mate.
That's good. I'll give him that one. Whipping the hair back and forth. It's a good little ditty. I can sing along to that.
It's so not.
I can imagine that being Eurovision, like a German dude singing that with a little ukulele. You know,
I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my hair back and forth.
See,
I love that. Yeah, it's already a perfect song. We could put that in fucking Eurovision.
You know, I'm just writing that down. 1 minute 08 intro clip. Singing.
Excellent.
That's great. Okay, then. So the next person we're talking about, I'm going to save that one for after, is Dennis Martin. Dennis Martin, once again, was in a national park with his dad when another dad came up to him and asked if they would want their kids to play together because they were all the same age. So there's two dads with each of their kids. I think the one had a few kids. The dads agreed and they all played hide and seek together. Dennis's dad kept an eye on him from afar and saw him run and hide behind a nearby tree. Everyone else jumped out to reveal their places, but Dennis never did. So he gave him a bit of time. Eventually, his dad ran over and he was just not there. He ran behind his tree and then just wasn't there. He searched everywhere. The other guys did as well. They looked at the nearby trail, looked in the forest. There was no sign of him anywhere. Completely disappeared. And that was it. Actually, with this one, that was just full stop. They never found anything. No sign of him. Which is
that sounds abduction-y. That does. But like again, how did he not see the kid? Unless there was someone like. And like, I know it seems Hollywood movie-ish kind of paedophile behavior, but if there was someone like just a little bit further out of shot, just going, "Hey, come here, boy. I gotta give you some candy. You ever stroked a puppy?" Like that kind of shit. Like that. Like if you don't see the kid walking away because he's sort of in the perspective of the tree, so you can't see him.
Yeah,
it's not great, man. It's not great. These things are horrible so far, because so far we've had someone definitely faking their death and then deciding it's not a great idea. Then we've got a bloke who definitely killed his friend. Then we've got someone who was probably beaten to shit by a mountain man, and now we've just got paedophiles.
I didn't mean to say. I think it might have been in this story when one of the. Or a different one of the teams was searching and they thought they saw like some kind of animal in the forest. They thought it might have been a bear or something, but one of the other people that were with them said, no, that looked like a man to me, like some kind of mountain man. So you never know.
Yeah, that could well have been that fucking mountain one, because like genuinely, who the fuck steals someone's shoes?
Yeah, but I mean, bear in mind that this was a snowy area. Not this one. The one we just talked about was seemed like a normal forest kind of area, what you'd imagine from a national park. But that one before, where you mentioned the mountain man with the shoes, was like they'd been skiing, hadn't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I mean, at the same time, that would, if you had no shoes, then you'd want shoes if you're around a lot of snow. But then at the same time, how did you end up with no shoes?
Well, I tell you, the thing is, when someone comes up into your cabin and you don't want them in the cabin, well, that's when you get the shotgun out and you say, "Take your shoes off, or I'm gonna kill you." Because then they can't run away. Because then if they do go outside, you can catch them because they don't have any shoes on. So they freeze to death and then you blow their head off.
That's a really good point, Trevor. I never thought about that.
Trevor! He's totally a Trevor.
What did you do when you found this person on your property?
I said, "Come on in, man. It's cold outside. You lost." And he sat down, and I just waited for him to fall asleep. And then I got my dick out.
Okay. I'm totally not going to call the police now. Not calling them, just calling someone. I mean, the worst part is
why he killed him, because he got his phone out and he tried to call the police, and then he ran away and he had no shoes on. The guy said,
all of that could have happened.
Yeah,
could have been another Unabomber, like sitting in his own place in some little thing somewhere.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah, man, fuck.
I mean,
that's just...
all of these, they very much could be like a killer or something. Some of them, I don't know though, because some of them, like this one, for example, if we're assuming that he really did only look away for a moment, or he watched him go over, and hide behind a tree, like, how long was he really there? Oh, and then that's the thing, he kept an eye on him, and he ran behind the tree, and then he went over to the tree and just wasn't there anymore. You could, I can't imagine he could run off behind the tree. Yeah, but it's a weird. There's not enough space there to run off or get pulled off by someone.
That's the thing. It has to be, because it has to be a really specific perspective for the person not to see it.
Yeah, and by the time you get there, there's a chance you might see them after that anyway.
Maybe.
It's a weird one, that one. But then it's once again
up.
Because the other family were there too, the other dad and that, so they can back him up. But at the same time, he could have accidentally killed him and paid him off. One of the others, I don't know.
Or maybe he wasn't even paying attention as much as he thought because he was drunk, but he was insisting, like, "No, I was paying attention. I saw it," Could
have easily been that, and he just went somewhere, and the other one was just like, "Oh, I didn't. It's not my kid. I wasn't paying attention either."
Yeah, and that's the problem with all these missing persons cases. Is it just becomes a thing of, well, who do you believe? What do you take in? Because again, this brings us back to, like, if we're talking about like bad parenting, like the king of all bad parenting is fucking the McCanns, isn't it? Like the Madeline McCann thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because just does anyone believe them? Like, anyone believe them at all?
I don't know how you can even, if you looked into it at all, I don't know how you can even, it's not a question of believing them because they're just not true. Some of the stuff they said, some of it sure makes perfect sense. And I don't think they even, I don't think they did it myself, but they didn't help the situation in any means.
Yeah, I think what they did is they, as some of the toxicology reports initially stated when they first were there, they drugged their kids. They put the kids to sleep in the thing, and someone came in and stole the kid. Now, there were signs of blood and stuff like that in the back of their car as well, so maybe they did something extra. Maybe they did, but let's just assume.
I forgot about that part. I didn't.
Yeah, let's just assume. Yeah, but let's just assume for now that it is someone who came in and nicked their kid. Even in that scenario, they are responsible because they should have been paying attention to where their fucking kid was. And the fact that they were still allowed to keep their kids after that kind of reckless endangerment just goes to show the way this fucking country works, because there are brilliant families getting ripped apart for no reason, and terrible families staying together just because no one wants to have any prying eyes for these rich weirdos.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like look, keeping an eye on their kids and that. I mean, they weren't that far away. Like, it's made out like they were really far away where they were sitting, but it wasn't that far away. They could see the building and stuff. They couldn't see all the doors and all that. And I don't reckon you should have been going out and leaving everywhere anyway. But just going against people were saying, you know, they left them completely on their own. They didn't. And it is weird though, because people always seem to think when on holiday they can relax more in regards to, you know, like your kids being on their own or whatever. But it really is a situation where you should be a bit more aware, because you just don't know the area, you don't know the people, and especially when you're British.
Even adults, even adults should be careful overseas. Like, I have a friend who goes traveling quite a lot, but she told me at one point that she was in India. I think it was India anyway. Yeah, it was India, and she was at a bar and she had a load of friends with her, and they were all just having a chat. And this dude comes up behind her and just starts surreptitiously like pulling her back into the crowd with a load of other people. And she has to actually sort of say to her friends, "Can you help me? Because this is weird," for the guy to stop.
Well, okay. And that was India, you said?
Like, yeah, that was in India. But like, and don't get me wrong, it's not everyone who's like that over there. But
no,
there's a lot less CCTV. There's a lot less ability to follow and track crimes. You've got to be fucking careful over
big sectors of people that still have like a very archaic way of thinking, for the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Especially like over there, you know, and places like
there
Middle
and
East
kind
in
of
general.
Russia a little bit, and Middle East.
But even places like Spain and that, I mean, more so than anything, it's like, it seems to be like over that way you have a lot of kidnappings and stuff, and they always go for like, when it's like kids, for example, they go for like the British ones and the white ones in general, because apparently you get more money for them. I don't know if that's just because they're harder to get, I assume.
No, it's just because they're easy to detect. Basically, it's easy to detect in comparison to anything else. It's like, that's a white kid. A white family is probably from somewhere in Europe or America or something like that. So they've probably got money. It's as simple as that in comparison to, you know, someone who is from that country. They've got nothing. You know.
And if there's just more demand for them as well, then that's straight away, because that's the weird part about it. They operate it like a business, you know, which is what, in my opinion, I reckon happened to Maddie. Like, she got taken by someone because, like you said, the parents drugged them all up, because they definitely drugged the twins up that were still there. They didn't get taken because when the police came and that, they said they were just chilled. But normally when they go to a place and there's people walking all through the house, the children are crying just because they're being bothered, you know, but these were just like asleep the whole time.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
there was something
it's
about
been turned
someone...
into a fucking industry by the parents, which is gross.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, help us find Maddie. Oh, please help us find Maddie. You don't want to fucking find her. You're happy with just this eternal fund of money coming in.
This is the weird thing.
So
I used
gross.
to say, I reckon it's not them because why would they be making such a point of it still? And like I said, I still think it's not them, but it's got to the point now where it's a bit like, why are you still making this point? Like, you must by now have gone through the thing of she's probably not alive. Even if she's alive, we ain't going to find her. Or
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's the weird thing about. I mean, there could be a simple case of the delusionalness with it, possibly, but it seems a bit much now.
Yeah.
Could be a bit deluded.
The Madeleine McCann thing is a whole mess of issues, but I honestly, if I put my hand over my heart, I could quite easily believe that they killed their kid accidentally. I could quite easily believe that. I could.
I mean, I don't know, just for the fact that I don't know when they would have done it as well, because I think Maddie was there still when the other family was around, and they just went to dinner with another family. They were on holiday. We were on holiday with another family at the time, so there was other people. I mean, it could have been. They could have just.
But that's provided you follow their timeline of things, because if they instead say accidentally drugged both of the kids, so Maddie was found there, but by the time they get back, they find that Maddie's dead because she's overdosed or something on the stuff. And then they try and rush her out to the car, but while rushing her out to the car, they accidentally drop her or scratch her or something like that, leading to the blood on the inside of the car. They try and dispose of the body somewhere. They dispose of the body somewhere. That never gets found, but ultimately they still have the evidence inside the back of the car, which they didn't even necessarily know about because the scratch might not have even been visible to them. And then they get back. The kids are still relatively drugged, the other two, which are fine. But Maddie's not there, and lo and behold, it was some Puerto Rican guy, as South Park would put it.
It wouldn't surprise me that much, to be honest, because it does feel a bit like convenient as well at the same time. But I just don't know why they would kill their kid. But I was just thinking maybe as well, maybe it was because there was one of the other people, I forget their names, not the mum or the dad of Maddie McCann, but the other family. One of the adults from them were running around looking in the area, and they saw a guy walking off with some girl sleeping in a blanket or something, like about the right size of Maddie. And she said something about she didn't think it was them at the time because she was expecting Maddie to be walking around or didn't expect her to be asleep still. But I don't know, maybe she didn't realise they were drugged up. Probably didn't know they were drugged up at the time, actually, because it's probably not something you would tell the people you're with, but it stands to reason maybe the reason they went on holiday, they took another family there to give them some kind of cover and plausible deniability was because they'd arranged for someone to come in and kidnap her to get them some money.
Maybe, but
with how they've gone since then, they seem a bit. They apparently don't care about some feeling somewhere, or they have something to them that's not right.
That's the thing. I think it was probably. I still think they weren't intentionally killing her. They were probably trying to drug her, and things went wrong to try and keep her asleep so that they could go and do whatever the hell they wanted to do, because it's obviously something they didn't mind doing. And then things go wrong. Maddie dies, they take care of it, and when they get out to the other side of it, that could explain why she was wrapped up in a blanket and all this kind of stuff, because she's dead, she's not moving.
When the people saw
walk
her
around, and then when it comes to the actual media circus around it, there's a certain degree of it where it starts off as trapped in the lie, and then eventually the lie becomes their reality. And if they don't commit to it fully, then someone might not believe them and it crumbles. And so that becomes their life. Their life becomes basically an homage to the daughter they accidentally killed. It doesn't sound like a nice situation for them. I don't think it's something they would intend to do, but I think it's something that might well have happened.
Yeah, I mean, if that was the case, then I mean, it's kind of their own fault. They shouldn't have been trying to drug their kids. You know, it's like,
Yeah,
hard luck that
basically.
they have to go through that. Worse than what Maddie has to go through, or doesn't go through
Yeah.
because of it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I buy that. Though. I mean, the
No,
drugging. I don't know what they're
yeah.
drugged with as well. Like, but it all seems a bit strange because then at the same time, if they drugged them for that night, when would they then have got the chance to get rid of the body because they were going for dinner with them and all the plans still went ahead? You'd feel like if that was the case, there would have been some point when they'd have disappeared for a bit or something. And there might have been now. I'm thinking back on it. I don't know. Because I have watched a lot about it and don't remember ever thinking that.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to know, really, isn't it? Because this isn't a podcast on that yet, so we're gonna have to do one now because quite clearly this is a interesting topic.
Yeah, it is something that we've both lived through. So, and it's something everyone pretty much that would be watching this has got an opinion on too. So, yeah, we should just do it at some point. Yeah.
Yeah. Same with that and Epstein and various other ones. You just got to put it on the list.
Yeah. I had something going to ask. I got a little thing to ask you about Epstein later on, though. But yeah, we still need to cover that in general.
Excellent.
Okay then. So next little thing. Okay, so we've done that one. And Dennis Martin with his dad behind the tree went hide and go seek forever. I shouldn't make jokes about this. Yes, I can actually. It's the comedy version of this.
Fuck
comedy
it.
version. Yeah.
We're not here to be fucking, nice.
We're really not, to be fair. Yeah.
Yeah, we're here to be funny. We make terrible, nasty jokes all the time. It's fine.
Either terrible
child death is just another level to it.
Either terrible, nasty jokes, or just downright terrible jokes. One variation of them.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with this one next because this one's strange. Okay. Danny Flippidos. Yeah.
Interesting. Sounds like a Pokemon.
It does, it really does. He was with his friends skiing once again.
Fuck's sake! Stop skiing. It's dangerous for your health.
I think I'm looking at these ones a bit differently now. Like, I mean, first of all, you can't look at the skiing ones that are in snowy places, the same as ones that are in like warm parks.
Yeah.
But he wanted to go on one last ski jump before the place closed that they were at, and did this while his friends carried on, presumably to the bar, I assumed. He never returned. Eventually, a team of 130 people searched the mountain but couldn't find him or even any sign of him whatsoever. 6 days later, though, Danny's wife received a phone call from a number she didn't recognise, and it sounded staticky and far away, the voice did, on the other end. But the voice was definitely Danny's. Apparently, he sounded incoherent and confused. She managed to persuade him and managed to make him figure out, I guess, from the sounds of it, how to call the police, and he described his surroundings to them because he had no idea where he was. Basically, he was just in this area, didn't know where it was, called the police on their phone, described the area, and they eventually found him. When they found him, he was in need of medical assistance. Doesn't really state in what sense, but he needed medical assistance, and he was still wearing the skiing gear he disappeared in.
Fucking hell.
He was holding a new iPhone, and someone had cut his hair, which is, it was worded like that on the thing I watched. Someone cut his hair rather than he'd got a haircut, or someone had cut his hair anyway. He disappeared. The original place, I don't get what park this is, but it was in New York where he disappeared. And he was eventually found in an airport car park in California, about 3,000 miles away. He had no idea how long he'd been gone, how it happened, and said he couldn't remember anything whatsoever.
These all sound like horrendous acid trips.
Yeah, that's one of the more conceivable reasons for it, I guess.
Yeah.
They got high as fuck, went crazy for 6 days. But he was only skiing, like, down a ramp. Like, it'd be such a weird thing to go off skiing and then, maybe one of his acid tabs or something, like, about 17 of them slipped into his helmet.
Yeah, that's the thing that doesn't make sense. It's like, what? unless there is something out there in cold areas in particular, like a plant or some kind of venomous creature or something, that when it
Yeah.
affects you, gives you some kind of horrendously powerful hallucination where you just sort of go blackout for however many days until you wake up again. Because, like,
Even then, though, you know, you've
this
got to
sounds
assume.
almost like.
You've got
Sorry,
to.
yeah.
I would say even then, though, he would have had to have done all that off the grid somehow, because you know the police would have checked into all this
Yeah.
stuff as well. You know, they would have had to. Apparently, there was no
But it
evidence
sounds like
of anything.
it sounds like an Ambien thing. You never heard of the sort of on the Joe Rogan podcast they talk about Ambien, and guy will wake up and cook himself an entire fucking chicken or a turkey, or and then eat the
Yeah,
entire
yeah.
thing and go back to sleep. Like,
Is it like quite like the opiate kind of high, like that kind of thing?
yeah, it seems like that kind of thing where someone's literally just gone like completely off the rails from some form of drug, had an automatic version of them in control for the blackout, and then came to.
Yeah. But then, where you got the iPhone from then, though? I suppose you could have
That's the
took
weird
that from
thing.
someone. But was that something
I
you
know how
do
he
if
got it.
you
I
were-
know how he got it, Carl.
Go
I know
on
how he
then.
got it.
Go on.
Basically, he went up into the mountains. He knocked on a wood cabin. This guy said, "Yeah, how's it going? If you come in here and suck my dick, I'll give you an iPhone."
2 months, pre-recorded, whatever membership on
He's got
iTunes.
all the latest contracts. You got unlimited data.
Anytime calls, baby. We don't get great service down here, but you can go offline with Netflix.
Oh, mate.
I mean, you never
I
know.
like Trevor. Trevor's a hero.
Trevor just sounds like the kind of guy I'd get down with. Should invite him onto the podcast sometime.
Yeah.
I bet he's got a
Oh,
few true
God.
crime stories he can tell us about.
Bro, I'm so down for doing a fucking podcast as Trevor.
So that's everything from that one. I mean, going all the way from New York to California, I kind of know where they are just from looking at the map. Isn't that like one side of America to the other
Oh,
side?
it's literally the other side of the continent. Yeah, literally. Not even just across, like across and down as well. You're going fucking
No.
diagonal. Yeah.
Fucking hell. Yeah, God knows. I ain't got a fucking clue on that one.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, man. But again, like let's do the runoff. We've got number one, which was again quite clearly someone just pretending that they were dead. Because this one does have a lot in common with that one.
It does.
But this one's got a more believable swing on it because of the calls and things like that, you know? It's really interesting.
Yeah. I
'Cause,
mean,
like,
at the
again,
same
what
time-
was that call about?
What?
You
The
know?
call to the wife?
Yeah, like, why was it staticky and weird? Why did he seem like he was out of it a little bit? You know, like,
I mean,
it all
this is the
sounds
thing-
a little bit MK Ultra again, to go back to, you know.
Yeah, if you want to put on the tinfoil hat and say maybe it was something to do with aliens, we look at that side again, which I don't think that, but possibly. I'm not completely.
It's not impossible. Not impossible.
The static he's saying could be after they put it down, he was all confused. Because a lot of people that go up into these places, they say to them it was like a dreamy haze, you know, they don't remember it all. And
yeah,
they could
and
have.
especially if you're in an area where you've been dropped off near a spaceship, and a lot of these spaceships supposedly use like a radiation type drive, a radioactive drive. There's a static there from that.
Yeah. And just some kind of drugs that they put in to make it kind of hazy. Maybe they perfected it from like, you know, back in the day or different aliens to have a slightly better one that makes you hazy than some of these ones you hear about, you know, where you do remember things. I don't know.
Yeah, no, and
they just forget where they put you or something, so they put you in a random place, because to them it's like, oh well, you know, take this ant out of here, just put him back this other side of the garden, who cares, you know, it's just a garden, he'll find his way back, who cares.
Yeah, it's in the right hectare, he'll be fine.
Or we've got slightly different clothes on, you know, it's like, you won't know any different, it's all the same to him, give him a backpack, give him Bob's over there, you know, he looks kind of the same, he wasn't wearing glasses, give him glasses. He needs glasses. That test said he needs glasses.
Yeah. Did anyone get the boots off of the old? Give the boots to the other guy? Nah, we didn't give the boots to the other guy. Give this guy 2 sets of boots. He looks like he could do some boots.
Why have we got an extra pair of boots? You put someone down without boots, God damn it! Did it again.
It's the 3rd time.
Quaggar, you're looking for a fight.
This is your job, Quaggar. Oh,
Quaggar.
shut.
Right, there's one here for you though, which if the other one seemed weird, this one's going to seem especially weird.
Excellent.
It's all about this 2-year-old dude called Keith Parkins.
2-year-old.
A 2-year-old, which straight away.
It's hardly a dude. He's more of like a did.
It's a mini dude.
Yeah.
Or as I call my children, just little people. You don't want to do that too lately though, because some people get offended. So this was about a 2-year-old boy then who went missing from his home in Oregon in the middle of winter. Lived nearby to a national park again. He was playing outside.
My chair just broke.
Holy shit, bum.
Oh god, am I that fat? It's
Sure,
okay. I'm going to prop myself up. Everything's fine.
Okay. That's all I do. Ever since the accident and everything down there is splayed now. I have to prop myself up. Yep.
Bifurcated. It's not fun.
Got a traction board and everything.
Oh dear God.
Yeah, so he was playing outside with a jacket on, but he had nowhere enough on, to survive a night in the winter, for example. But he suddenly disappeared. His family and local search party immediately started searching all over for him. They were able to follow his small footprints and tracks for a time, going up into the forest nearby, the national park forest. But they just stopped suddenly after not that much time whatsoever, as if he just disappeared completely. They just stopped. And once again, if this was a fake death, or I highly doubt a 2-year-old would have the smarts to cover up his tracks at the very least.
That one seems very, very different.
Yeah. That's not weird.
Like no one else was around. No one was near. Like there wasn't an opportunity. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. No. There's just more weirdness to it. It was noted. There was also no sign of any other animals in the area because of the winter temperatures, which also makes sense again. However, 19 hours later, 2-year-old Keith Perkins was found. He was about 15 miles away. So this is the next morning or afternoon at some point, I guess, 19 hours ago after. 15 miles away, laying face down on a frozen pond without a jacket on. So he wasn't even wearing that jacket. Everyone naturally assumed the worst as they approached him. But he was absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. As soon as they went over to him, grabbed him, it was like he just woke up and was like, oh, hello, what's up? Kind of thing. He was cool. No jacket on. He wasn't hypothermic, wasn't anything, as if, well, God knows, as if what,
That's so weird.
It can only be assumed he hadn't been in the position he was found in for long, or, because he had no jacket on, because it wouldn't take long, for anything to happen if you were just out there in that position. Like, I feel like it wouldn't take long at all.
No, it wouldn't.
Apparently, the journey in question that he took would have required the 2-year-old to traverse 2 mountain ranges, various fences, creeks, and rivers, all in the night time.
Yeah, no, I don't buy that.
And then get to this area to
not as a 2-year-old in the freezing cold at night. No, not happening.
Didn't even get into that place. I don't buy. Even getting halfway there,
also,
I don't buy.
Not something a person would do as well, leaving him face down on a frozen lake. No one is walking onto a frozen lake just to leave a kid in it.
I mean, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I don't know how far into the frozen lake it was and stuff, but
but still, you're gonna risk falling through the ice for that stupid shit. I don't think so.
It's a very good point. I mean, he's just weird in general. The fact that, and then why was he okay? The fact that he woke up in that moment when they went over to him too, as soon as they grabbed him and talked to him, he was just then
immediately
awake.
Stands up. Yeah, it's weird.
Not if he stood up, but yeah, he was just conscious, aware straight away. You know, not hypothermic or anything.
Yeah.
Because that does all kinds of shit. It just makes no sense. Like from what I remember reading as well, he wasn't even like cold to the touch, like specifically anyway. You know, explicitly cold to the touch and all that. Like
That doesn't make any sense.
You see now, a lot of these cases are looked at and then like, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, it's either a distinct lack of evidence or something very strange is happening. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And what is it with it always happening in cold places? What's that about?
Yeah, I mean, there's something there that wasn't in cold places too, but a lot of the weird ones seem to be in cold places.
Yeah, the ones that seem to connect all have the same thing of like, you go to a certain place, tracks disappear, something weird happens.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know, man.
There's another little one here. There was a 10-year-old partially deaf boy who was attending a Catholic church camp for boys. This is another one where you have to believe Catholic counselors at a camp.
Yeah.
But let's just give them the benefit
It's about
of the
a
doubt.
50-50 chance in it at this point.
Mm-hmm. A counsellor found a boy fishing. Found Bobby Boyser.
Okay, as soon as he found the boy fishing, like, I'm sorry, he immediately dropped it down to 25.75. Yeah.
He's fishing at the river, and he told him to come back to camp for dinner. Started following him, checked back every time he's following him. But then during one of the times we looked forward, looked back again, found he completely disappeared. And after that, apparently 400 people from the area and from the camp went out to the search party looking for him everywhere. Didn't find any sign of him whatsoever. A year later, counsellors found a bit of his torn up clothes and his hearing aid about 2,000 feet up a mountain. And he was once again an area that had been searched many times before, with them not finding anything, and nothing's been found since. Kind of the same.
That sounds a bit beary to me, to be honest. That sounds like something's come in, or even a cougar, to be honest, for a kid that size. Like if a cougar jumps out of the bushes and goes for a kid, it will bite around the head or the neck, and the kid won't be able to scream, won't be able to react. The kid will just die. And then the cougar will drag it off into the distance. And by the time the guy's turned back and turned duck, like, it'll be gone.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And, you know, the kid wouldn't hear it coming either because he's partially deaf. I don't know how much sense it would make in regards to the counsellor not noticing, not hearing him drag him off. But at the same time, you're assuming that
they're ambush predators.
Yeah. But you also have to assume that he was as close, he was paying as much attention, which he could have easily not been.
This is the thing, like, and also, like, how close is close? Like, if he's saying, "Oh, I was close enough to see him," that could be like 50 yards behind him. If he's, you know, trusting the kid enough to sort of keep up, basically. But
I mean, there is one part.
Yeah, no, that's what I put my money on.
There's one part of it that doesn't make any sense, though. If that was the case, wouldn't they, when they were searching and looking around, they would have found some kind of blood from him? You know, from something as he was dragging him off, or some kind of sign.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, if it's biting, it potentially could. But like, the way they tend to bite is a sort of, it's almost the same way that you do when you lock off. Like, you know, when an MMA fighter like puts someone in a chokehold.
Yeah.
It's a very similar thing to that, because what they're doing is they're biting around the jugular to stop the blood flow. And then once you're sort of passed out, they'll just drag you away and eat you. They don't really give a shit after that point. But they're not necessarily trying to puncture you straight away. They're trying to just stop you moving.
Subdue, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there is possibly, but yeah, you'd like to think that they would know what they're looking for with that, like, and how to search for it, but at the same time...
I suppose, yeah, because you'd find animal tracks. Like, if you were looking, you'd find animal tracks. And if he turned away that quickly, like, it's still dragging a kid. It's not like it's just going to disappear.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
I don't know. I don't completely buy it, but it still makes more sense than anything else you can really think of, because that one, I mean... You know, you go with the crazy ideas once again that it's like Bigfoot. I mean, Bigfoot could run out, grab it and run off if he's really quick. We don't know. if Bigfoot's
Yeah.
real.
Whoa, bam, 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 bam. I just got the idea of him
Could do.
sprinting across. Yeah.
That's horrific, really.
Oh.
Actually, thinking about that.
Yeah, like an American football player picking up a fucking
Yeah,
football
yeah.
off the ground. Just
That kind of size to him as well, from what
Yeah.
they say. They say he's like 7 foot or more than that, I think, actually.
Yeah, 9 foot, I think. Some
Yeah,
of the big ones,
yeah.
supposedly.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Like a full-blown
aliens.
space marine.
It'd be really weird for aliens to just do that. I mean, the kid could have just ran off to the side, and then an animal could have dragged him off from there. But then the same, you know, there's I reckon Bigfoot. I think the only thing that makes sense for that one is Bigfoot.
Only one.
The only one, literally the only explanation makes sense. And again, aliens wouldn't pull him up in the middle like that. It just wouldn't make any sense. Or the
That's not
counsellor
important.
just.
Doesn't mean enough to him, this deaf kid. Why are they going to fucking practice on a deaf kid? What are they going to do? Fix his ears? Don't sound very alien to me. They're all about chopping people up and seeing what works. If it doesn't already work, what's the point?
Have you ever seen any of the thing? I think I'm not sure if I mentioned it to you before. The Patient 17 thing, where there was all these different abductions of people. And there was also like a lot of these abductions, they had like little implants or pieces of metal left in them afterwards. And they took one and they looked at it, and it was like, it had all these loads of metals in it that you couldn't find on Earth, and they were joined together in ways that we like. Something about like most metals here have like 8 elements or something like that. And this one had like 100 and something or some crazy number that was put together. And the stuff that we just can't do here. It's like an actual bit of physical evidence, that literally was like, doesn't come from here.
That's cool.
It's the same dude that was doing that, that whole documentary in that. Jeremy Corbell, the one who does all the Bob Lazar and is, basically pushing the freaking alien stuff at the moment, pushed that report to come out, which I think is coming out the 26th of June now, from what I've heard.
Interesting. I'm going to be interested in reading that one.
I mean, from what I've heard, though, I don't know about you. I've also... It's a lot of the rumors are that it says, yes, we haven't got any evidence showing that these are aliens in any manner, but we also haven't got any evidence showing they're not. It's like, well, yeah, of course. You've got no evidence, that's why.
Yeah, that's just literally the textbook answer of, we can neither confirm nor deny anything at this stage. Yeah. We can neither confirm nor deny.
That's exactly what he sounds like is going to be the case for this thing. For this report, which is fair enough,
I'm interested. I'm interested either fucking way. I don't care if people go, well, it's technically not necessarily. It's like, yeah, but it's probably, though, isn't it?
That's the thing. Like, it's most likely got to be something. And this report, I don't expect much to come from the report. I don't think it will say much, because I don't really know what it could say. Like, like we were saying, then there's not much it could say. But all they're doing, it's like looking at something out of a window, looking at someone out of a window, and assuming you could then write a report on what they're thinking. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. There's people who think that they can do that kind of shit, but they're very, very wrong.
Well, yeah. Yeah, there are definitely people that think they can.
Yeah, I used to be on a message board for it was a fan page on Facebook, basically, for Midnight Gospel, which is a fucking brilliant series, absolutely fucking brilliant. But the people who were on that fucking fan page, oh my god, mate. Oh my god, just the most useless, flowery hippies you've ever come across in your life. And then just a bunch of people just earning money off of those people, like, or just getting the pussy for it. I shit you not, there would be people on there. I shit you not, dude. Like, there's this one dude who kept posting on there every single time, and it was like, oh yeah, it's real hard to be in a relationship when you're an empath like me, because like you got to deal with feeling other people's emotions in the things. Like, mate, you're not a fucking empath, okay?
What's an empath?
You're not fucking Troy from fucking Star Trek, for fuck's sake. You're just a person, and at most, an empath means someone who is empathetic to other people on a base level and feels like emotions of other people, like when they're telling you a story, and you feel sad. Yeah, well, that kind of thing is like literally a similar type of thing. because it's like it's your body being empathetic directly, and that is actually a part of your system. It's
Yeah.
hardwired into humans to do this. But there's these other people who seem to think, like literally on this message board, they would say stuff like, "Oh yeah, no, I just look at a person and I know exactly how they're feeling. I know exactly
Oh.
what's on their
Oh.
mind. I know exactly
Jesus.
how to help them. And it's actually a real struggle for me sometimes knowing all this
Oh
stuff."
yeah. It
It's like,
must be
mate, you
so
don't
hard.
know shit. Yeah, and it's like, you don't know shit. You
Yeah.
do not know a fucking thing,
First
and
of
you
all,
are acting like you're a fucking genius.
if you did know everything everyone you met, if you knew everything they wanted, everything they needed, your life wouldn't be
Yeah.
hard. It would be quite
Yeah.
cool. You'd be able to
Yeah.
get stuff quite easily. And even if you didn't want to be a dick, you wouldn't have to be. You could get someone, you could get what you needed by giving them the thing they need the most, by making them
Yeah.
really happy. You wouldn't need to
Yeah.
be a dick.
Exactly.
But
But
that's
no.
bullshit. That's just a whole nother level of psychic then, basically.
Yeah. Oh, it's beyond that. It's a whole other level of psychotic, mate, is what it is.
That's the thing though, like
Yeah.
as you know, I believe in ghosts and stuff, but I find it really hard to believe in the majority of these mediums, people that think they can just pick up
Yeah.
on the, and it feels like the same kind of thing, you know, people that can pick up on feelings, emotions and all that.
Oh, I can see your aura. You can't
Mm.
see shit.
When people
Fuck
say they
off,
can
you
pick up
see an
on,
aura?
yeah, I think everyone's got a base level of some kind of, I wouldn't say psychic, but an ability of being able to pick up on things like without
There's a hive
knowing why
mind
you are.
connection thing going on. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely like a hive mind connection thing, because you can feel how someone's feeling sometimes when you step into a room. It's like, oh, I've just walked into a bad situation here.
Yeah,
You know,
which is
or like,
strange.
yeah, but like
That's a fair point,
that's
actually. That's something everyone does. Everyone has
yeah.
stories or can think of times when they've done that. It's true. There's no real reason why you'd think that other than
No,
you
but
pick up on it.
you know something's up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with, like, as I say, like there was a study ages ago when I think it was sheep in Australia. Some of them just started rolling over cattle grids. Like they'd lie down and roll over the cattle grid and walk over. And it happened
Wow.
in one place, and then it started happening all over Australia. And they were like, well, there's no way these sheep could have possibly talked to each other. There's no way they could have communicated
I
this
think I
shit.
remember you mentioning
And yet,
this,
for some
actually.
reason, yeah, for some reason, they've all started doing it all over the place. So you have got to ask yourself, like, why? Is there some hive mind connection? Because they're a very hive mindy kind of group. They act in flocks. They all this kind of stuff. There must be some kind of thing
You could
going
see
on
it,
there. Yeah, and it's the same thing with like ants and stuff like that. Some things just act as a group better than things that don't. And there's still aspects of that as human beings, because we're a social creature.
Yeah,
You know,
I
we
think it's
used to
funny.
live in tribes and things.
I think it's like just everything about people now is kind of going away or trying to go away from that social aspect of it. So
Yeah.
like the stuff like that, and maybe when you walk into a room and you get that feeling, that's just like little remnants of it that, you know, we don't even really understand now. That's making it sound really paranormally, but it's not. Just like little things that we don't really get now, little feelings that we always had, you know. But
No, I agree.
so I mean, thinking about all of that, you know, and all that stupid shit that like a lot of people believe and the stuff that's lost and all that, why the fuck would any aliens want to study us? Just why would they? But then again, we all like seeing like monkeys and that having a wank or sticking their finger up their ass. So
Well, I've got a theory for you. I'm gonna
we like the
throw everything all
Kardashians as
together
well.
here. Yeah, I'm gonna throw everything all together for you here, though.
Go on then.
Because recently a bunch of monkeys in the Amazon have started getting leprosy, right?
Oh, all
Yeah,
right.
fucked up. Because it's originally a human disease, but they didn't get it from humans. This has naturally occurred in the chimpanzees. It's evolved to affect chimpanzees. Now, there's a bunch of alien sightings that have increased recently, haven't they?
Yeah.
You know, we've seen a lot more turning up, a lot more talk about it, all this kind of stuff. People are mentioning it quite a lot more. Well, when these monkeys got the leprosy, a bunch of scientists went into the jungle and started shooting a bunch of monkeys and tracking them and tracing them, all this kind of stuff, because there was a new disease spreading around. Now,
I love the human.
what's been happening
design
over
of
the
that.
past? Yeah, but what's been happening over the past couple of fucking years? Oh, that's right. We've had a big infection that's been infecting a load of us. So what if it's a bunch of aliens that were like, oh, we've pretty much got this thing planned out. What are they doing? in a lab in Wuhan now? Why are you doing that? Why have you released it? Oh, guys, we've got to study this shit.
True. It straight up basically ended up with reality TV to aliens.
To aliens, yeah. Why the fuck
Yeah.
not?
No, to be fair, that's probably about the best thing we could offer to them.
They're probably watching us like Attenborough. You know, there's one alien going like, and now we see the Carl Hinken. He is doing a podcast with a fellow comedian.
Who has many, many voices. But his bass one is kind of annoying.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I never used that one.
But you know what though? It's literally the only thing I could genuinely imagine that we could offer to a civilization that can do interstellar travel, can manipulate gravity like we know their technology can, their ships or droids, whatever they are. We know they can do that. So yeah, I suppose at least we're doing something. We're not getting killed, so it's a plus.
At the moment.
Maybe that's what all those things are going into the ocean. Maybe they cameras that are powered by water, and that's why they keep diving into the water, because they need to replenish their fuel. You know, like they don't have much water where they come from.
There's free hydrogen bouncing around inside water, which you can, I think, use in some form of radioactive.
But it'd be things we don't even
It's
understand.
not impossible. And like there's lithium and shit in there as well. Lithium's pretty fucking useful for that kind of shit.
I don't see why it would be impossible, especially just something like, you know, ridiculously smarter than us as well.
Yeah.
I think most things in general, to be honest, when people like scientists or something say it's impossible, it just generally to me it's like, no, we probably just don't know how to do it yet. I don't know if anything's completely impossible within, I've got to say within reason then, but I don't know. Like they managed to, I forget what it's called now or what the study was or just any of it. But there was this thing where they managed to create matter out of nothing. Like just literally there was nothing there. And then it was some kind of condensed light and then it created something out of nothing. I completely forget, like one atom kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
But it's still the basis of, I completely forget everything to do, but I know that definitely happened.
That's interesting. Speaking of which, before you know that bananas release antimatter.
What? Rewind.
Bananas release antimatter.
No, I didn't know that. You know.
Right. So, a banana contains a large amount of potassium, and when potassium is actually it's an active chemical. It's breaking down while it's there, and as it breaks down, it releases an actual antimatter particle called a positron, which is the opposite of an electron, basically. And because an electron is a negative charge, a positron is a positive charge. Or is it a positron or is it something else? I can't remember, but it's one of those. And it releases about one of those every hour. So it's not a huge amount, and on an atomic scale, like that one particle is absolutely fucking nothing. But it is technically releasing an antimatter particle.
I mean, what's antimatter again?
So antimatter is the exact opposite of matter, basically. At the start of the universe, when the Big Bang happened, it happened because there was a huge amount of matter and antimatter, essentially, which caused this huge explosion.
I'm guessing it's something
supposedly. Supposedly,
you couldn't see it or anything.
Yeah, because apparently the Big Bang happened due to a singularity, and then all of this stuff expands out of it. There's a matter and antimatter, and shortly after the Big Bang, there's like a destabilization, and whatever wins becomes whatever it is. So, for the vast majority, matter won. And there's not a huge amount of antimatter out there in the universe. You can potentially make it, but it's incredibly expensive to make. Incredibly fucking expensive to make.
So it's something you could actually like. It's like a physical thing, though. Still,
it's a physical thing. It's an actual type of matter. It is exactly the same and works in exactly the same as all the matter that's around us, except for one reason, and that is if it touches a piece of actual matter, they will both quote unquote destabilize and vaporize both of them instantly. Like all of the atomic
Wow,
power
okay.
of those atoms will be instantly released and vaporized.
Well, you could never make one then, surely, because anything it touches, like anything
No,
it's
because you put it in a vacuum. You put it in a vacuum and you keep it stored using incredibly powerful electromagnets, so it never
so it
touches
never
the outsides of the thing.
Ah,
However,
okay.
there is a theory that not all of the antimatter in the universe was destroyed near the start of the universe, and that there may actually be entire antimatter solar systems out there in the universe that are just floating around, or even galaxies that are entirely made of antimatter. And we wouldn't really know that they were until you got there and things went horribly, horribly wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, from the sounds of it, though, like it doesn't really, because you said it's not really, it doesn't work anything any different than normal matter. So, if it was like a world made of antimatter, would it be any different, really?
No.
Until,
Well, I mean, the thing is, to us, like matter, antimatter, it doesn't really matter what we were made out of. It's just the one that we're made
Yeah.
out of. One. That's it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's literally like evolution, or like just whatever, and we just now are like, well, we're the right kind of matter. That's the anti kind of matter.
That's
Fuck
the
that.
antimatter.
That
Exactly.
needs to go
If we were
away.
made
Fuck
out of
that.
that stuff instead, we wouldn't fucking know. We'd just be like, that's the antimatter over
Yeah,
there.
that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's basically
God,
scientific
itchy
racism.
fucking head. Sorry. Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's
Scientific
discrimination.
racism. the earliest form of it.
Discrimination on the dimensional scale. Yeah.
I mean, that almost fucking
Yeah.
makes sense, though, to be honest.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy though.
Did you see the antimatter map that was put out? I think it was NASA.
Oh,
that did
the dark matter map. Yeah.
Yeah, not antimatter. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
No. Anti-gravity. Sorry.
Oh, anti-gravity.
Anti-gravity was dark. No, it was dark matter, wasn't it? Yeah. The big
I don't
map
know.
that looked kind of purpley.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
supposed to be the dark matter map, because they
Yeah.
basically started going, well, it appears to have a mass that we might be able to calculate, so we might be able to find out what it is. Because dark matter is a whole different kettle of fish. Dark matter is a type of matter that doesn't react to either matter or antimatter. It's basically
It doesn't react to light either, does it? No, it does react
Yeah,
to light.
no.
It's just you can't. It doesn't emit light or doesn't bounce light, so
Yeah.
you can't see it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's basically just leftover primordial material, from what we can tell. But it might not be. I mean, there might be a different way where the dark matter is in fact different universes, like creeping into our own, and you can't actually detect it because it's not within your same dimensional bandwidth or whatever it is.
Because from what I remember reading, the only reason they were able to make this map and see where they, best guess where they think it is because it. Something like a lot of things, like with the planets and stuff, people are always saying, how do you manage to see something so far away? How do you know it's there when you don't have telescopes technically strong enough to see that far? It's just because you can see how the light is kind of warped by
bending around it.
Yeah. So however,
it's like you can find out. Yeah. You can find out what's on a planet by what color the light you reflect back at it comes out.
Yeah.
It's
and the size
in this
as well,
spectrum, it's iron. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get things like redshift and stuff like that, where it comes. Like, do you know what redshift is?
What wise?
Right, it's basically the same thing as the Doppler effect. So as a car goes past you, it goes like that. Because as it's getting closer to you, the waves are closer together, so it increases in pitch. And as it goes further away from you, the waves are further away from each other, so they decrease in pitch.
Okay, yeah. That
makes sense. So like the sound wave. Yeah, so as it's coming towards you, the sound waves are hitting you quicker. Yeah, exactly. Whilst
I've had that shown to me before, and I was always before like, I don't understand what I'm hearing. Like, yeah, it gets louder and goes quieter. Obviously, I never picked up on that pitch thing. I'm not good at hearing pitch, so
yeah.
Hence why I'm a drummer.
Yeah, but redshift is basically the same thing, but on a visual level. Because if you look at a galaxy in the distance, or a quasar, or something like that, which is like a really fast spinning sun, basically, you can see
called a quasar.
Yeah. You can see how the galaxy or the object is turning based on redshift. So as it's coming towards you in one direction, I believe it's blue or red. It shifts to it. It shifts into the ultraviolet or the thermal range. You know, the sort of the, what do you call it, infrared spectrum.
Yeah.
And as it's coming towards you, it's one. As it's going away from you, it's the other, because of, again, basically the Doppler effect. And that allows you to sort of not only detect what way the galaxy is spinning, but how far away it is, fast it's spinning, potentially what it's sort of made of to a certain extent. It's really fascinating.
That's the thing as well, like people hear like different spectrums and that, and you assume it's like some crazy weird thing, but then just what you mentioned then, like the spectrum, like in regards to thermal imaging and that, it's just a lot of that stuff, isn't it? Usually like ultraviolet and all that.
Ultraviolet to infrared and radio waves and gamma waves, and
yeah, a lot of it's like just seems to be stuff that we use to change our vision in certain ways. Like there's ultraviolet, like in regards to black lights and all that, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's thermal imaging in regards to looking.
I've got friends who own thermal goggles.
Oh, really?
Because they're major air softers and they love it, and they do like weekenders and stuff, and they literally just flip down their goggles and they can see infrared in the dark, and it's mad.
I'm sure they don't do too many rapes either. A few murders, but they're morally better.
Significantly morally better. Yeah, it's a lot better to kill than to rape.
Arguably. I know it's a weird one, isn't it? Because you get done more for like murder, but I don't know. When you think of the two together, it's like they both feel equally pretty bad, but a lot of the murders do rapies too. So the rapies and murders.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? Like, and if you are going to kill me and rape me, kill me first. Like, come on.
I mean, that's fair, yeah. But then there's necrophilia. So is necrophilia worse than raping them when they're alive?
If I'm necrophilia. Dead, bugging me, I don't care.
Right, that's what you asked, yeah? I feel like you should get less time for necrophilia because at least you waited until afterwards.
Yeah, you had the polite nature in you to not to fuck a person against their will and wait till they were dead.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was some kind of nice thinking that went along with that, I'm sure.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't think Jesus Christ would be okay with any of them personally.
Oh, Jesus Christ it doesn't really matter what Jesus likes.
I mean, he's a pretty messed up dude, though, because, when it comes to apparently the turning water into wine, that all came from what they actually did was take a load of foreskins from the day, put them into a jar of water, and it turned it red. And he was like, I have made wine. That is apparently exactly how it's described in the Bible. I haven't read it myself because why would I? I've heard this from a few different people, a few different religious people.
What?
Yeah.
Jesus made foreskin juice.
He made foreskin juice, but he told him it was wine. And I mean, I'm not surprised if they got a bit drunk out of it, because there's got to be some stuff going on with that. You're drinking body parts and blood of other people mixed together with whatever the hell is in people's systems back then.
That's not okay. That's not okay, Carl.
No.
That's not okay.
I mean, this is Jesus after all. This is also, he's in the same company as someone who married a 9-year-old, was this?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Mr. Muhammad, we're not allowed to draw pictures of him because he was this prophet and all this. But he married a
wonderful
child.
Prophet. Yeah.
And I remember someone saying, like, they didn't have sex though until they were like 13. It's like, that doesn't make it better still.
What are you talking about? That solves everything, Carl. That's that solves everything I had wrong with that issue. Yeah, that's.
I mean, if it was a 10 out of 10 badness before, that maybe brings it down to 9.5 out of 10 at the most,
9.5.
That might be too much, 9.6, I don't know.
Fucking hell.
We should come up with some kind of scale of evil. Because, people like Michael Jackson apparently are on, like, 1. Apparently he's lovely. But Muhammad was just as bad.
Yeah. Makes you wonder about
was
Jared from Subway.
Muhammad was straight up the Michael Jackson of his day. He just didn't have the fame. He wasn't able to record some of his sweet songs that he would do.
Is this for your new tight 10? Because I'll be honest with you, mate. It will go down well in some places, but a lot of places they'll try and kill you.
No, this isn't. But while I was saying, I was thinking to myself, this would be a good little premise.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, is it? You got something there.
A lot of the time, what I don't do in my stand-up is I don't come up with a premise and then just kind of chat shit about it, because I know that's what a lot of people do. Like, they come up with this premise for something, like a little idea, and just explain it, go on about it for a bit. I never do that, but I don't think I do anyway. No,
that's my personal favourite way of doing it, because you can do everything with it. You can do stories or observation or, just madcap creative shit with it as well. You can just tell a story with it,
Yeah,
that's what got me into stand up.
Yeah, because you're more of a storyteller, you said, didn't you?
Yeah. That's all because I watched a lot of This Is Not Happening on YouTube. It's just such a fucking good series.
That kind of thing that I was on about then, how would you say to do it exactly? Like, that one, for example, I just said with Michael Jackson and Muhammad, like you'd say that bit at the beginning, that Michael Jackson, so Muhammad is essentially, the modern day. No.
Well, you can't go
Michael Jackson is the modern day equivalent of Muhammad.
Yeah, you can't go straight for it unless you're doing a Bill Burr, which is, I've done a Bill Burr occasionally, which is basically, how did I do it?
Just come out with
it. Something to do with cock and ball torture is basically what it was, and I'd be like, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have cock and ball torture. Let me explain myself. Like that, you've got to sort of, you give them the joke, the punchline up front, and then you explain the joke afterwards, and that's what Bill Burr does quite a lot in his kind of thing. Because you're trying to get them antagonized and then bring them over to your side as a sort of a thing. But like in that one, because it's quite an aggressive punchline on that one, you go in hard. You want to bring in other stuff you can compare it to. So like find another couple of slightly less racy. Racy sounds even worse. Now I say
but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't use this as like a Thursday thing. This is the kind of thing that needs to be thought out for a while.
Oh yeah. But I definitely like, you start off with Jesus, hit on Jesus a couple of times, like for fuck's sake, what's he doing hanging around with a prostitute, all this kind of shit. Then you build up to like
Jesus
Buddha.
being the original, Jesus and Christianity being the original conspiracy theory.
Yeah, and then you build up to Buddha, and it's like, oh well, come on. I mean, look, we're talking about Buddha. We're talking about a man who's got no impulse control at all. Look at the amount of food he ate, like that kind of stuff. And then you just go, and then of course there's Muhammad, and he had his own issues. He's basically the modern. He was basically the
modern version,
the whatever Michael Jackson.
The old timey version of Michael Jackson. Yeah.
And then from that point, you go that. Hang on, let me explain that, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then it could also make the point about how as well. I've got so much material about fucking religions, about how no person in religion, no one that follows religion, none of them are in any way.
Holy shit.
Selfless people.
Never.
No, they're not selfless people because they do everything to get themselves into heaven.
Also, This Is Whiskey is getting better. You want to know why? Because it's strong enough to make me pull a Robert De Niro
face.
Ready?
Yeah. I was about to try and do the voice. I can do voices at all.
It's it's hard to do. It's hard to do.
I might work on something like that for that thing eventually. That'd be a good kind of thing.
It's a lot easier to do Al Pacino. Oh, wow. Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah. Ooh,
that little bit then would be something that would be fun to just try out at the bush sometime, to try for the first time, because the bush would be okay with that. Then people would like it.
Oh, they'd be down with it.
They wouldn't hate it for whatever reason. They might hate it because it's me saying it. I don't know.
Yeah,
but in general,
you can definitely build up to it. And like they're the place to start with that kind of stuff, because they'll give you the level of like that's okay, that's not,
No, that'd be fun doing that kind of stuff. Did you see the other day? I don't know if you've been watching the Euro at all. You watched the
Nah.
Euro and World Cup is the only time when I turn into somewhat of a football fan.
Yeah.
Not much still for England,
Yeah.
and let's be fair, England doesn't normally last that long, so it's not like I'm
Yeah.
a football fan
As
for
I
long
say,
either.
Yeah, as I say, every time I watch a football game, like with England loses. So I'm
Oh
going to do my
yeah.
solemn duty. I am not going to watch a single game and watch how we will now win the UEFA Champions League, like that, or the Euro Cup, or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
the Euro. We're not going to win the UEFA Champions League. I think that's
Yeah, that's a different thing entirely.
that's
That's
football
the fucking
clubs.
clubs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care, Carl. These people, they act like it's such a big deal. Like I watched the fucking news this morning, or not this morning, this evening, and they were talking about it like it was the cure for cancer. England hasn't lost their first game of the European Cup. Oh, haven't they? Oh, fan fucking
Oh my
David
God.
Ozy.
We only
Yeah.
won one.
Well.
We've only won by. We beat Croatia by one. It's not that big of a thing.
Yeah.
It's not something to write home about.
Croatia as well, mate. Croatia. For fuck's sake.
1-0,
It's not
and
like it's a.
he went flying when he did the goal as well. Like he kicked it and had to. I mean, fair play. He had to fall over while doing it, but he got tripped over too. But he made the goal. Well done. He got the ball in the net.
Oh God. The thing is though, like I was walking down the street and it had just finished, and there were just this bunch of lads, like 3 lads, and they were just screaming at the
lads. All right, football. Yeah, football. Lads.
Yeah,
all right.
mate. They were screaming at the top of their lungs any football chant that came into their minds, just over and over and over again. And it's like, I really, I don't try to hate football. I really don't try. But some people just make it fucking impossible not to.
It makes it too easy to hate.
They are the fucking worst, man. They're the worst sports fans of all time because they assume everyone else is just as into the football as they are. I'm not, man. Yeah. I don't care. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, it seems to be just a thing about England, and it's not like that in football in general, but England football, they naturally seem to assume that everyone is into football.
Oh, who do you support? I don't fucking support.
They find it so weird when you say that. That was like, I could tell so many times, like in office jobs in the past, when like the office politics that you always follow is annoying, but it's always true. Like your job gets so much harder to go up in whatever, you know, like by talking to the managers and all that. As soon as they learn you're not into football at all.
Yeah.
There's a huge thing that everyone talks about.
No, you can't sit around and have a discussion about what's been going on in the Premier League. Oh, fuck your Premier League, man. It's a bunch of overpaid twats doing stuff that they shouldn't be fucking doing. The vast majority of them will waste the money on stupid cars and pathetic looking houses, literally like a fucking 4-year-old has chosen the decorating, and you're sitting there and everyone's venerating these absolute morons. It's like, come on, man, come on. Don't get me wrong, like, again, I try not to hate it, I really do, but like, I've tried for so long. And I was wondering earlier on today, like, when is the day when you get fed up of hearing football's coming home? And I figured it out. It's when you reach the age of 30. I'm 30 years old now, and I never want to hear that fucking song again. Every single time I hear it, it is just the worst.
But that's coming from someone that doesn't even watch football generally. And you've just now gotten sick of it. So people that are into that and get some passion about it, you know, they could be going to like 70. And by then, who cares about their opinion? So,
oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, 70 years of that shit. That would melt my brain, mate. That would melt my fucking brain.
Yeah, basically.
All that 4 lions on a fucking... Oh, my God.
Is it 4 of them? I get confused whether there's 4 or 3 of them.
No, I don't know.
They made another one, apparently.
Yeah, I don't want this shit in my fucking culture. I'd much rather have American football. If I had American
well, fuck
football
that.
when I was in
No.
no, if I had American football in high school, there would have been at least a chance that I would have got laid for an athletic capability because I would have been the big dude who ran into people. I was great at that in rugby, but you don't get to do it all that much because back in school they made you do tag rugby like a bloody pussy. Whilst at one point, one chance I got when I was at high school, when this guy who regularly acted like a dickhead to me got one of the rugby shields out and he's like, yeah, he's gonna tackle me, ain't gonna do shit. And I was like, oh mate, I'm gonna fuck you up. And I just stomped into him, put all my weight behind it, left the floor as I went shoulder into him and just watched him go 2 meters back. Oh, satisfaction.
So good when you shut up an idiot like that.
Yeah, man.
Especially when other people see it, it's even sweeter then.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see what happened on the football? I think it was 2 days ago, something like that now, in the Denmark match.
No?
Right.
Oh, yeah, I remember, yeah.
So you probably, it was fucking crazy, man. He was just there, just went forward to get to the ball and just fell forward. There was no sign of it before. And then, just apparently he's okay. Apparently he's regained consciousness and all that now, like hours after.
But that shit's scary, man. That shit could be anything. It could be a fucking aneurysm. It could be, you know.
He wasn't even tackled before, but then again, he could have been tackled earlier and you just obviously wouldn't have paid that much attention to it.
Yeah, concussions and strokes and things like that. Blood on the brain is not good. And
anything.
Yeah.
Man, like it was kind of nice though, because the rest of his team were like kind of, I say nice, nice in the sense that the rest of his team were like circling around him to cover him.
Yeah, to stop him, taking photos.
To see. Because at the same time as well, during that, you could see them doing CPR and everything. Like, the match was called off. I think they redid it in the end the next day, because he's okay in that now. They would have had to redo it eventually, I'd imagine, though.
Yeah, but still, it's just one of those things, isn't it, man? It's just...
It's a wounded thing, but at the same time, it's like, it could have been a lot worse, It could have been.
The guy could have died, but...
Well, yeah, exactly.
It's still not great.
No, but it's all good now. But sadly for him... Yes.
Ooh, keep talking.
Cool. Sadly for him, though, it means now that he has to go back to playing football, and I don't wish that on anyone personally.
That's the thing, isn't it? These people, it's their dream job. It's their goddamn dream job.
I've had to get okay with it lately because my son, as much as I didn't want him to be one of these chavvy people loving football, he's become not so much chavvy by nature, but chavvy by the clothes he wants. But not one
That's
of the worst.
It starts, Carl.
Yeah, not one of the worst dressed chavs, at least, because his mum's got good fashion. That's one good thing about both of his parents have got very good fashion sense. So hopefully, as he gets older, he'll have it too. TJ already likes the other kind of clothes, but he could go the other way too. He could get into football and all that too. And Max now wants to be a footballer when he's older, which is fine.
It's kind of,
do it.
Yeah.
Your life will be easier if you're into football.
Weirdly, I found myself today thinking, like, if I did end up being a dad, I think I'd probably prefer to have a daughter than a son. Just because I know how much of a pain in the arse I was as a son.
I don't know though. When it came to having my second, I did want it to be a girl until we found out we was having a boy, and I was kind of happy, relieved at the time. I was like, "Oh, okay, I didn't expect that." But if you think about it, as a guy though, having a daughter, you're gonna have to deal with them dating and stuff, and it's a whole nother thing.
I don't think I have to worry about that. If it was a daughter from...
You're trying to say you'd have ugly children. Be a bit more positive.
No. If I had a child and they had any of my DNA and they just repel the opposite sex naturally for no reason whatsoever. I don't know what it is, but we have a power.
Maybe they just repel girls, so she could repel all the girls and she'd just be like a guy girl and all the guys would come towards her because she's repelling all. Then again, every girl repels other girls. Every girl hates girls.
Yeah, that's like the thing that everyone knows.
Yeah, which is weird as well because like every girl is a bit of a lesbian or has been a lesbian at some point or
apparently
tried it out. Oh, it's fucking true. Every girl's got a story of trying to get out at some point. I swear to God, when you really get to it, every girl's got one of them stories. It's great when you're involved in them.
Yeah, I've never had that joy.
I've had minimal
Excuse me.
experiences. Should have had better ones, but then people have come in twice when I should have had a threesome, and it was fucked up for me both times by other people coming in or messing it up, coming into the room. I had
Maybe
a
it's just not your
threesome.
destiny.
Maybe. I had a deconstructed threesome once, so that was close enough.
What's a deconstructed threesome?
When both people that I was banging knew, first one knew that I was banging her, then going to be going to bang this other girl straight after, and the other one knew that I just banged someone and came straight to banging them straight after, but they both knew, so it was just a deconstructed threesome.
For fuck's sake, Carl. How are you doing this? What is your fucking... What do you do to just walk around banging people 24/7?
I mean, I don't do it as much now.
I don't care. You still do
honestly,
it enough, for fuck's sake.
being a dick, as soon as you stop caring, and I just used to outwardly tell people that was like, yeah, I'm just addicted, so you know, like, I'm just going to have sex with you. That's it. Girls like having a guy being addicted to them. It's sadly true. I got to a point.
God.
That's why I completely understood that whole Crystalia thing when he was talking about like how you realise you get to a certain point when you're bored of it and you're just treating women and sex as if it's just something to get for the hell of it, or you know, for an achievement or something, you know. So I completely got that, because after a while you just stop wanting to be a dick. But you can do it. It's easy to do.
No, it ain't.
Just stop caring, and then it is easy to do.
I can't stop caring, Carl.
That's the problem.
I'm a person. You know.
Or stop outwardly caring.
No, I refuse. I refuse. I find it morally objectionable that I have to be an asshole to get laid. I find it fucking morally objectionable.
I mean, you don't always have to, but to do stuff
You
like
do.
that.
You fucking
To do stuff like
Carl.
that, yeah. You really do.
No, you do. You do, Carl. Let's
yeah,
be honest, you do.
in general, you do, just because it's a sad thing. I don't understand where the evolutionary trait came from, but women do generally, obviously on average, but women, all the women I've met, all the women
I know
I've
where it
slept
comes
with,
from. It's the same adage for any other kind of human being. You want what you can't have, and if someone immediately tells you, "Oh, I don't want to, I just want this thing," and that's all you are to me, immediately it puts you into this different stature position where that person has got more power over the position than you do, and that's a thing that turns people on. Is people have got power
and confidence, I guess, yeah.
It's a very simple psychological trick. It's just, unfortunately, I don't have the moral backbone to do it, or immoral backbone. I'm not sure which one it is.
Probably more of an immoral backbone, to be fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was much more of a dick when I was younger, to be fair. I couldn't.
Yeah,
I don't
don't
find it
know.
as easy to do now.
I don't know how it's done, mate. I just don't know how it's done. I still don't even know how to talk to women all that much. It's a strange and alien thing to me.
You know what? Because I went to a boys' school, as you know, so I felt like I had to work a lot of that stuff out later as well.
Yeah, but not this late. Come on, I'm 30.
No,
Come on.
Well, yeah, but that's anyone that thinks you just know and you can walk up to someone and just breeze through it and bang someone or whatever, or get with someone. It's never like that. It's like the same as being on stage. There's always a bit of anxiety to it, unless you're really drunk. But then it's probably not going to work too well anyway. A little bit drunk.
Yeah.
Tattoos help too. Tattoos help as well.
For God's sake.
They definitely help.
I've only got one tattoo, and you know.
You got money.
I don't want more tattoos yet.
Oh, that's the problem then.
I want my tattoos to mean like something, and I haven't had a thing come along yet recently that's like one of those ones that's like, yeah, I got a reason to put a tattoo on, if you know what I mean.
I originally started with wanting meanings to them. Then I just ended up, there was a few that had looser meanings. And I was like, yeah, but I like them. And they got more of a meaning now because I've had them for a while, you know.
Yeah.
And but then there's like the big eagle on my chest, which is just because I like how it looks.
Yeah.
But none of my tattoos are finished. So look, you got this one that's just going off to nothing at the moment. The guy who actually did all this died. So I need to figure. He had all the design and stuff. So I need to figure out.
Shit.
Yeah. And then there's one on my hip here. Look, that I haven't finished the roses off yet. Hold on, where's the other side? I haven't finished the roses on that bit yet because it's just painful as fuck, and I just forgot to finish it for a while. And then this, like on my chest, is just not finished shaded yet either, but mainly done on that though. Yeah, I got most of that done in one sitting, man. That was a fucking beast to do. That was.
I imagine. Yeah, all I've got is still just the shoulder, just the shoulder.
What have you got?
It's the runic divination of the perfect life.
Oh wait, well, it's a what?
Runic divination of the perfect life.
Oh,
Nordic,
is that
basically.
Nordic? Yeah, Nord.
Yeah. So it's the same kind of shit that you would see on, Mjolnir, basically. Yeah. I can't remember exactly which way round it goes, but like wealth, success in business, basically, or not business, in your career, long life, healthy life, sealed rune, something else, and another sealing rune as well. So quite cool.
Yeah. I like that, to be honest, man. So you could make that into a cool sleeve as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea. Is ultimately the idea is to turn this into, instead of just this is going to become the Yggdrasil, the tree of the world tree.
Yeah, I have
and that
seen
will go down to there, and then that will become a Celtic band with Ouroboros going around it.
Ouroboros.
So, the snake that eats its own tail that's around the world tree.
Oh, is that also the thing that you see on the medical things? That's not, is it? That's not the same thing.
No, it's a different thing.
No,
it's a different thing.
I saw it pop up in my head then.
But Ouroboros
I know
turns
what
up
you
quite
mean.
often in like jewelry and stuff when you'll see a snake eating its own tail, and that's Ouroboros quite regularly.
Yeah. I feel like I have seen it a few times. It's just when it popped up in my head, and I was like, "Wait, that's not the same thing."
Yeah, but there's just something about Valhalla and that whole thing.
It is all
just
cool.
It's so much cooler than any of the religions we've got. And it's like this thing of, if you die in battle, you'll stay there forever. And to me, like, weirdly, stand-up is kind of dying in battle. If you die on stage, you're going to end up going to Valhalla and just doing stand-up on the thing, and, while all people are fighting below. It sounds fucking awesome. I've got a story that I wanted to write that was set in Valhalla, actually, and it's a comic book idea which I've never got around to finishing off. But yeah.
Valhalla's like kind of like the afterlife, isn't it?
Yeah.
Generally, yeah.
And then there's the Valhalla is what's the name of the beer hall? Is it? I think Valhalla is the realm. And the beer hall is called something else that I can't fucking remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it's fucking cool.
Because if you had that tattoo as well, you could have like with all that other stuff you mentioned, and you could have because there's a lot of different gods in that, isn't there? You got like Odin and
Odin.
I
Freya,
guarantee. I was about to say, I guarantee I'm only going to be able to think of the fucking ones from Marvel now. Loki, Thor.
Yeah, Balder.
Heimdall.
That
was actually a real one.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. Okay. I knew that. I knew that really.
Yeah, and there's loads of others. I've got the prose edda, which is like the bits of the sort of the oral tradition that they had. The sort of bits of the oral tradition they had that they actually managed to write down in time before it all disappeared, and it's called the prose edda. And it's really interesting because it's got bits in it that are like a religious thing, talking about, well, if you go to here, you'll find a race of people who live in a burning hot land, and all of their skin is darkened from the sun. And it's like, well, they went to Africa then.
Oh,
that's what it is. They went to fucking Africa. Like,
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, that's literally how they talk about it in it then.
Yeah. They talk about it as in myths and legends and stuff like that, but realistically, it's their history.
That's just how they talk. Is that like, because I know like Valhalla and all that, like the Nordic stuff is, because I know that's Vikings, isn't it? But is is all the Nordic writing like what the Vikings wrote, or did they come across it afterwards and then they adopted
it's a whole
it?
mix. It's a whole mix because there's Vikings, which are like Scandinavia and that sort of area. Then you got people who were in Iceland who did similar sorts of things and had similar types of runes, but used them in slightly different ways. Then Greenland, I think, maybe had similar things. I don't think it might not have done. And then England, Celtic, very heavily influenced by the Nordic traditions and things like that. Like a lot of it. Like, in fact, like if you said that was Celtic, to a lot of people, they wouldn't be able to tell the difference between Celtic and Nordic. It's very similar.
Thinking about
It's
it,
just the
actually,
placement.
yeah.
Because they use the same runes in a lot of situations.
What, same runes was that?
Yeah. So it's the same, because that's where our alphabet almost came from in a lot of ways. You can see the start of an N and a Z and a P and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can see you can see a lot of it actually how we come
and
from
that
there.
combined with Roman numerals and things like that to become what we speak.
Okay, but so it was just all like, were Vikings just an amalgamation of things coming together as well then, in general?
Yeah. It was a whole mix of different oral traditions that eventually became this cohesive thing of Odin and the.
How long were they around for, Vikings? Because that's just something you always hear about, and you never really. I mean, for a long time when I was growing up and when I was younger, I thought Vikings was just this mythical thing, like, wasn't a thing with his horned helmets.
They were around for quite a while, but they weren't as necessarily aggressive as people think they were. They did genuinely settle,
and they did have laws as well, didn't they?
Well.
They always go on about them being
and then they have the blood eagle. The blood eagle is absolutely terrifying.
I mean, I love that voice.
Yeah, do you know what a blood eagle is?
No.
Right. Oh, mate, fucking hell. So a blood eagle
is it an eagle that flies over you on its period and grips on you?
No.
If it was a big eagle as well, that would be pretty scary.
I'd be okay with that in comparison.
I don't know if it was thick, like a warm, juicy slushy.
Fuck's sake, God.
With a lot of sugar in it, so it's all
no one needs to think
together.
No one needs to think about disgusting eagle ovulations right now, when we've got something even more disgusting to think about. Because a blood eagle,
you probably get hair in it too.
Yeah, fuck's sake. So, where was that? Yes, a blood eagle. They position you up against this particular rack. They cut open your back. They take your ribs, they splay them across, they pull your lungs out and hold them above you like big wings, and you stay there until you die.
Okay. I mean, first of all, whoever's holding up their lungs, I feel sorry for them, because I imagine they must be a bit heavy.
Oh, no.
It's just awkward.
Don't worry. They're on spikes. It's fine.
Oh, that's cool. Right, to be fair, you're not going to need them afterwards, so you might as well spike them up. Point of holding them. What's the point of putting care into that?
But literally, they'd only ever use that on the people who literally betrayed the tribe or whatever, or betrayed.
For the worst things.
Yeah, that was the worst of the worst.
Yeah,
but there's also something that's.
I don't imagine you die very quickly either. Probably less. No. Probably take longer than you imagine it would. Yeah.
Oh, it takes days. Yeah, it takes days.
Like in a film, they'd be dead, within minutes. But no, that shit would take ages. That sounds like it'd be quicker than crucifixion, obviously, because it's something that's actually done to you to kill you.
Yeah.
But fuck that, though.
It's horrible. It's horrible, man.
Yeah.
And then there's the Atterstup. The Atterstup, which is far more interesting because the Atterstup.
They all sound so lovely, but they're just not.
Yeah.
It makes it worse, I think. They all sound like little nursery rhymes or something.
It's so cute. It's the Atterstup.
Something you give your children, or something to help them sleep, or a friendly kids entertainer, not deaf in the worst way.
It's never that. Yeah, because basically the Atterstup is
it'd be a kids entertainer if the kids entertainer was Hitler.
Yeah, there's a show called Norseman, and they show you what the Atterstup is right at the front, and it's basically just when you got too old to be able to fight or farm or do anything productive, they take you to a really high cliff and you jump off and die.
Oh,
because
I wasn't expecting them to die.
Because it
fly.
is a really good way of dying, because you are not causing any trouble to anyone else. So it is like dying in battle, and you will go straight to Valhalla.
It's like dying in battle because you're not causing any problems to anyone, unless they're chasing you off the. You agree to them chasing you off of the mountain, but still agreeing.
Yeah, man. It's
That's like Christians thinking like they're allowed. I mean, once again, it's all stupid anyway. But it's like Christians saying I'm allowed to commit suicide because I'm taking up space in this hospital, and God will love me for that. Which, to be fair, makes sense in a way. That's true. Then again, is it true selflessness because you're trying to get into this heaven place to get rid of your pain? So no, that's not selflessness. Kind of.
It's hard to tell, really, isn't it? Though, because that's the whole thing with religion as well. Is like, are you really a good person if you're just doing it so that you're going to go into heaven at the end of it? If so, then you're not a good person.
No, this is what I always say about religion. No religious person is ever truly selfless.
Yeah, but at the same time, if they are still doing that, it's got its own inherent benefit because they are still at least trying to be nice for their own sake.
Well, they're still trying. Yeah, they're still trying to do it. It's still going to have some benefits to the world in that. But you're still doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
If you're, I don't know, putting solar panels in because you tell everyone you care more about the environment, but really it's because you've got a decapitated head attached to every plug in your house and you can't use the electrics anymore, then it doesn't really matter what the means is.
Why the fuck are they attached to the electrics? Is it like a fucking big mouth bass situation?
Yeah, there you
here's
go.
a little song I wrote. But you might hear it note for note.
Don't worry.
Be
I'm
happy.
decapitated. Oh, it is late actually, isn't it? I didn't realise.
Oh shit.
Okay, I'm coming up in a sec. Okay, cool.
That's fair.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realise how late it was at all. In that case, I'm getting a pop off, I think, then, man.
I think that's it. I think we're there. So
yeah, I didn't realise it was that late at all.
I reckon I've got the sign off on this one. So it doesn't matter if you're pretending that your friend disappeared in a blizzard, or if you're pretending that your child that you were supposed to be looking for after in the Catholic Church just disappears.
No.
It doesn't even matter if you're a homeless, terrifying bearded man standing up somewhere in a log cabin in an icy field. If you got to kill someone,
Naked.
Yeah, naked. If you got to kill someone, kill him with comedy.
Huzzah.
Or
life works better sometimes, but comedy's nicer, really.
It's efficient.
Yeah. Well, not really. Yeah,
well, nowhere near as efficient.
Yeah, we saw Patch Adams trying to murder that guy. Oh, that didn't go well.
It took
and
way longer.
Why was he naked as well in his underwear? I don't get that.
Because he had to masturbate, Carl. You know.
I know, but you thought he could have wore clean ones though, and at least cleaned up the fucking skid marks at the back. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think that would have been too nice. Anyway,
though, yeah. You can catch us both, remember, on Thursday in Kidderminster for Leanne's gig. I can't remember the name of the place, in all honesty, but we'll have shared it by the time you see this video. Anyway. So just check us out on Facebook at KD Comedian Hinken and Nathan Parish.
Parish Comedian on Facebook, or Dead Man Dancing Production Company on Facebook, or Post-Apocalyptic Metal Treehouse, wherever you find your podcasts. It's all out there. It's a good sketch show.
And
that's it.
And I suppose just start off with a post KD Comedy Inc., but you probably already know that if you're watching this to this point, you've already seen the thing up there. So I don't know why I bothered saying that, actually.
No.
Say la vie. Say la vie. Au revoir. Go home, everybody.
Bonjour.
I need to smoke my wah-wah.
Bye-bye, people.
Right.